Apologies for the delay. I had to work on some things in the office, and I welcome everyone to our hearing on the proposed measure. May I read the opening statement? Distinguished resource persons, colleagues, good morning. I welcome you to the public hearing of the Committee on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation. Times are changing. Our defense institutions must be able to keep pace. The threats we face today are no longer confined to land and sea, but now include cyber intrusions, disinformation operations, and other gray zone tactics that test our cohesion and national resolve. In the West Philippine Sea and within our exclusive economic zone, we continue to see persistent harassment of our fisher folk and the shadowing of our vessels, and concerns over national security have now moved beyond policy circles into everyday conversations among ordinary Filipinos. Thus, our agenda today can no longer wait. It is necessarily multifaceted, so it's a roster of resource persons. We are discussing reforms that cut across governance, procurement, personnel, budget, and long-term capability planning. We need a Department of National Defense that can respond to the future with a professional civilian capability, the legal authority, and the funding tools to do its job well. We also need an armed forces of the Philippines that is not burdened by outdated planning cycles and bureaucratic constraints, but is able to adapt swiftly to rapidly evolving technologies. So first on the agenda is a D&D transformation proposal, Senate Bill 146-384-1816. These measures seek to strengthen the D&D proper so that it can better direct strategy, manage resources, coordinate across domains, including building specialized cyber capabilities and professionalizing the defense bureaucracy. Second is strengthening the implementation of the revised AFP Modernization Program, Senate Bill 1845, Resolution 161. These measures focus on making modernization more consistent, capability-driven, responsive to evolving threats, while strengthening oversight so that plans translate into delivered capabilities. Third is Senate Bill 1719, the Philippine Veterans Month Act, to institutionalize meaningful remembrance and improve access to services and benefits for our veterans and their families. So we look forward to a candid, innovative, practical inputs of these measures, and our duty today must be approached with precision. Strengthen the D&D, modernize the AFP, honor those who served, so we can better secure our nation. I am also told in a text message last night and this morning that Secretary Teodoro will not be able to join us. And of course, I understand because I think he had a flight. It was a helicopter flight, I think, not an, and he was due to go to Pangasinan, if I'm not mistaken. Who is representing Secretary Teodoro? It's Undersecretary Mison. Yes. He also mentioned another undersecretary. So it's you. Yes, Secretary Mison. Yes. Okay. Thank you. May I ask the committee secretary to read into the record everyone who is present here today for the three batches of measures. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you. The committee would like to acknowledge the presence of our guests from the Department of National Defense, Undersecretary Salvador Melchor Mison Jr., Assistant Secretary Eric Lawrence D., Assistant Secretary Catherine Lingan, Assistant Secretary Romeo de la Cruz, Assistant Secretary Emmanuel Ramos. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we have Major General Ivan Papera, Brigadier General Honorly Brillantes, Colonel Ferdinand de la Cruz, Miss Leia Angela Amante, Major Igay Jags. We have also from the Department of Budget and Management, Miss Gian Cabatanya. From the Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Assistant Secretary Edgar Badajos, Undersecretary Antonio Habulan, From the Commission on Higher Education, we have Mr. Arnold Ancheta, Attorney Cyril Austria. From the Department of Finance, we have Attorney Jason Raposas, Miss Maria Burley Amoral, Attorney Alan Leo Paran. From the Government Procurement Policy Board, we have Miss Annie Almuhela. From the Government Service Insurance System, we have Attorney Jovan Lin Quikoy Marin. From the National Security Council, we have Attorney Camille Angelica Gonzalez. From the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, we have Director General Ricardo De Leon and Attorney Cherry Tamang. From Department of Trade and Industry, we have Attorney Jomelyn Sara Sacramento, Ms. Vida Flor Magbual. From the Basis Conversion and Development Authority, we have Attorney Diana Joyce Basco Galera, Ms. Heda Rulona, and Attorney Amiel John Dris. From the Office of the Solicitor General, we have Associate Solicitor General Gilbert Medrano. From the AFP Education Training and Doctrine Command, we have Brigadier General Alexander Gigatone. From the National Defense College of the Philippines, we have President Christine June Carino and Mr. Clarence Duhenia. From the Office of Civil Defense, we have Undersecretary Harold Cabreros. From the Government Arsenal, we have Director Florante Amano. From the Philippine Veterans Affairs Office, we have Assistant Secretary Restituto Aguilar. From the Bureau of the Treasury, we have Attorney Jericho Cadorna. From the Department of Health, we have Dr. Ana Marie Salina Garfin, Dr. Adriano Subaan, and Miss Maria Cristina Raimundo. From the Department of Education, we have Miss Leia Apaw. From the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, we have Mr. Roberto Quintos. That would be all, Madam Chair.
Just so that it's clear, for the D&D Transformation Act, what are the salient features? We tackle this first. First, organizational strengthening. It reorganizes and strengthens the Department of National Defense proper. Second, there's progressive defense budget target. It sets a progressive target to increase defense spending up to 2% of GDP within 5 years in certain versions. I have some questions about this to DBM and DOF later so that we'll see if it's fiscally possible. International defense partnerships authorizes the D&D proper to enter into executive partnerships and multilateral defense agreements with foreign governments. I will ask this of a D&D, please prepare. Without this act, are international defense partnerships not allowed? Because I understand it's allowed. So what's the difference if we pass it or not? Procurement flexibility allows more flexible defense procurement, including negotiated and government-to-government arrangements. Possible exemption from the new Government Procurement Act. I'd like to hear from DBM or hear from a D&D. How is a procurement process now, and what is a DBM's comment on this? The multi-year contracting and innovative financing authorizes a D&D to enter into multi-year contracts for modernization projects and permits innovative financing arrangements. Are you not allowed now to enter into multi-year projects? And the cyber workforce institutionalization creates a specialized cyber workforce with a D&D proper. Don't we have a cyber division in the D&D and in the AFP? And it says here, possible exemption from standard civil service rules. I'm not sure if we have the Civil Service Commission, but we'd like to hear from them as well. Then we have research and development framework. It strengthens defense research and development and ensures intellectual property redounds to the state. Maybe we could also ask the Intellectual Property Office, the IPO, to give their thoughts on this. Then oversight and accountability mechanisms. enhances oversight, monitoring, and reporting requirements for defense programs. So let me just start with first the target of 2% of GDP target. But before that, I named at least 9 salient features. I'd like to hear from the DND your opening statement and your comments on the proposed measure. Aside from the DND, I'd like to hear from the other government agencies. Thank you. Yes, maybe hear from Undersecretary Mison representing Secretary Chodoro. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Foremost, we wish to convey the apologies of the Secretary for not being able to attend today's hearing due to an urgent matter. Nonetheless, yes, there's designated senior officials of the department to attend on his behalf to answer Your Honor's queries and provide the necessary clarifications. The department also extends its gratitude to the Honorable Chairman for giving us the opportunity to share our positions on much needed priority measures. We will be answering your queries as in the order that you have presented. To start with on the
Organization, ma'am.
Please proceed.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Your Honor. It's an honor to be here. The organization of the department is being envisioned to be expanded and enhanced to ensure that its ability to answer threats, current and forthcoming, makes the organization able to do that. As a matter of fact, over the years, the department has been one of the smallest organically, DND proper in particular. And this has limited its capacity essentially to ensure the effective and efficient delivery of services to its clientele, which includes the military and their families, the bureaus, and also the adjacent clients of our bureaus. So for us to be able to undertake that, we saw the necessity to ensure that there is an expansion, enhancement of the department, and also creating and establishing offices that we're not there in the first place. So this department is hopefully able to come up with an institution that will allow it to have a future-proof agency that will strengthen its clientele capabilities in addressing issues of the AFP and its bureaus, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you give us more details on the assets managed, the authorized plantilla positions, the field positions as of December 2025, and the total workforce of the DND?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, the department is currently managing approximately about 100 billion worth of assets, and it's catering to more than 1 million clientele in the country. As I noted earlier, that includes the AFP personnel and their families, DND bureaus and clientele, and pensioners, and managing assets that, as I noted earlier, which can only be operated as part of the DND proper by around 428 authorized plantilla, and currently filled up about 360 or so. 328 are filled up as of December 2025. The organic personnel, as a matter of fact, only comprises 32% of its total workforce. We've been measuring the workforce warm bodies over the years, and the cost and military to total workforce ratio actually is only 32% of the total requirement. As of December 2025, we have 22% that are costs, but 46% are military. So these are the entities that are supplementing the workforce requirement of the department, and these have been observed over time. So to ensure that the DND proper is really run by its organic personnel and not dependent on its supplemental workforce requirements, we're hoping that the expansion will be granted, and that our requirements for plantilla will sufficiently supplement the services it's providing.
The bill will strengthen the DND, and you say that there's a need for more authorized positions. But the way it is now, only 328 are filled for the 428 authorized positions. May we hear from the DND why is that? It's one of the smallest staffing complements in the executive branch despite overseeing extensive modernization programs and high-level interagency functions. But I'd like to know, why are we not using the allowed plantilla positions?
Actually, the hiring is ongoing. The plantilla positions were recently approved by the DBM. So we are now filling them up, and the plantilla, the hiring and approval of the hiring is ongoing. So the 420 for the 400 plus plantilla is being addressed already by our offices to get our required staff complement.
Yes. In all these years, in the previous administrations and the first 4 years of this admin, why is it that not all plantilla positions were actually utilized? USEC may answer, representing the DND or whoever.
Some are dormant, some are coterminous, so we need to change the dormant to what we really need, and
Mhm.
changing the dormant positions to what we really need takes time.
Mhm.
And then we asked for more. Then it's a continuous coordination with DBM
Mhm.
to get the desired position. And of course, the process required for civil service takes a while. Kaya natatagalan po kami.
Mm. Is it because of a lack of competent people, lack of interest to join government, or is it the bureaucratic red tape,
I would say skill set, ma'am.
the skill set?
Skill set, like if we are to transition to analytics on artificial intelligence or cyber, the pool of analysts is not really readily available on the area of defense.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So those are areas that we need to develop.
Mhm. Okay. Understood. So how will the proposed leadership structure under the proposed bill provide the DND with a professional and personnel capacity needed to address the emerging security challenges without resulting in unnecessary bureaucratic expansion? So, there's additional, what is it? The bill says 8 undersecretaries, 11 assistant secretaries. How many USECs do we have now, and how many ASECs? And how will the number of ASECs and USECs reflect on the professional capacity? Is it a matter of number of these high officials? How do we ensure that they're equipped with the know-how?
The USECs and the ASICs are just for the span of control for the for the secretary, because it's the requirements of the department is expanding. What we really need right now is the special skills. Example, cyber, ma'am. The one skilled in cyber, baka hindi papasa sa civil service rules because they are really different. Hindi namin pwedeng pagwardyahan niya or give them admin skills. They're awake at night. They have a different attitude. So we really need these people to be exempted from civil service processes. If we want to get them, we want to get good hackers. Hindi po papasa sa civil service yun. But we need their skills. Hackathon in the US, we have a Filipino who graduated from a community college from the United States who placed second. And yet, I don't think it will pass civil service rules here in the Philippines.
So you're saying that the civil service requirement must be,
You want to be flexible on that.
you want to be flexible on that.
Yes,
Is that contained in the bill?
uh,
That there's no necessity for a civil service eligibility?
Yes.
Mhm.
We've included, ma'am, in that provision in
That's in our
bill.
proposed bill, right? Okay. So, DBM, are you represented here?
Yes, Madam Chair. Good morning po.
How does the DBM assess the fiscal sustainability of the proposed expansion, including the creation of additional undersecretary offices and more plantilla items?
At the onset, Madam Chair, per our record, the current plantilla position of the DND, particularly on the ASEC and USEC that was mentioned earlier, there are 8 existing undersecretaries and 10 assistant secretaries. On the position of the department, we have reservations for this, considering that if you compare it with other departments or agency within the executive.
How many USECs do we have now?
This is the current structure of the DND. 8 and 10. 8 undersecretaries and 10 assistant secretaries.
Presently,
Yes.
you already have 8.
Yes. This is
And the
this is-
proposed bill, 8 na eh.
yes po. We just want to set it permanently into law because
So right now
majority
you have 8. And you have
Yes.
10 ASECs. And
Yes.
we're just adding one
Yes.
more, another ASEC.
yes.
Just so that it's clear, what is DBM uncomfortable with? The present setup of 8 and 10?
Currently, Madam Chair, although that is the current structure of the DND, some of the senior officials are not regular plantilla position, meaning they are coterminous with the secretary. So as you compare it with the other executive departments, most of them only have 4 to 5 ASEC and USEC. So this would have a disparity in terms of the regular senior officials on those departments. Hence, our proposal is to revisit those proposed number of executive levels in the DND proper to avoid po na heavy yung top level structure, considering that most of the necessity that the department needs is on the lower grounds po. Per our record, the current plantilla position authorized and filled up by the department, particularly under OSEC, they only have 66% authorized position that was filled out. On the civilian function, 77%, on the military, 97%. Our note was for them to exercise their power in terms of filling up those positions first before creating additional position for that purpose.
Like, if we are to base it on this proposed measure, it will be top heavy with institutionalized 11 ASECs and 8 undersecretaries, while that is what it is now, but it's not institutionalized. They're not all plantilla. How many are the plantilla among the 8 USECs?
Yeah.
So ilan yung permanenteng 8 USECs sa 8, and how many are not?
If I'm not mistaken, Your Honor, I think 4 undersecretaries are permanent, not coterminous with the appointing authority,
Yes, and the 4 are quota.
5 assistant secretaries.
Mm.
4 undersecretaries and 5 assistant
So,
secretaries.
8 USECs now, 4 are permanent plantilla, and 4 are coterm.
Yes.
And under the proposed measure, we want 8 permanent.
8 permanent positions.
How is it if the secretary would want to bring in his or her own people? He's stuck with 8 who are plantilla.
Your Honor, what I'm referring to is the permanence of the actual position, but as to the occupant, it's ultimately up to the appointing authority, which is the
If
president.
you have someone occupying that plantilla position as a USEC, you can't take out the person with a
Ma'am,
new secretary.
ma'am, I think they our current undersecretary, USECs, well, they have they are not CES eligible. Majority of the senior officials in the department were recommended by the secretary and appointed by the president.
But how is that? If we have 8 undersecretaries, and we do have that now, and if the position under the measure is institutionalized, okay, plantilla sila, after 6 years, pag bago ang secretary, you can't change them because they already occupy the USEC position.
Ma'am, they are not career officials, ma'am.
They're not career
They are
officials.
not career officials.
They will be USECs, and the USEC sa plantilla position, but they're coterm.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the difference?
What we are after, ma'am, is institutionalizing these positions. Let's say office of the undersecretary for X, office of the undersecretary for Y.
Is
But-
it not the way now?
It's not the way it is now,
How
ma'am.
is it now? What are the 8 undersecretaries? I want to understand.
It's the Undersecretary of National Defense, which is the Senior Undersecretary, and
That's
then
Yusek Mison.
that's Yusek Espino.
Hmm.
Espino. And then Undersecretary for Defense Affairs, that's Yusek De Leon. Undersecretary for Strategic Assessment and Planning, Undersecretary for Acquisition and Resource Management, that's Yusek Mison. Then we have Undersecretary for Civilian and Veterans and Reserve Affairs, an Undersecretary for Information System and Cybersecurity, an Undersecretary for Administration, and an Undersecretary for Defense Technology Research and Industry Development.
And those positions are USEC positions with those coverage of the tasking, the scope. Ilan yan? 8 na yan.
Yung coverage po ng tasking nila, ma'am, it's a mere designation by the secretary. It's a mere designation by the secretary. So
It can change.
it can change
depending on
po,
the secretary.
depending on the secretary. Like, say for example, ma'am, the previous secretary, see, if I'm not Secretary Galvez, wala pong Undersecretary for Information System and Cybersecurity. Yeah, as well as Undersecretary for Administration.
Okay. The 8 USECs and their mandate were only created under Sec Chodoro.
Yes,
And before this, there were certain USECs who were not part of the organization, or at least the scope was not covered,
yes, ma'am.
such as
Cyber administration, and
how can there not be a USEC for admin? Admin is basic in any organization.
exactly, ma'am.
Oh, and then cyber, wala naman cyber dito.
Undersecretary for Information System and
System and
Cybersecurity.
cyber.
Yes.
There was no cybersecurity and information system USEC.
Previously, ma'am, it was only a director.
So you want to elevate it to USEC level.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that these undersecretaries must be institutionalized but occupied by personnel, qualified persons who can be brought in by the secretary but not necessarily plantilla position.
Yes, ma'am.
Plantilla yung tao.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. I just wanted to clarify. Is this in the draft bill? Ganitong kadetalya? This 8? Hindi naman.
Hindi po, ma'am. As much as we want to have 8 undersecretaries, ma'am, we recognize that it ultimately depends on the direction that the secretary ultimately, ma'am, it will still depend on kung ano po yung magiging direksyon ng secretary.
Oh,
So, yung designation po, maaari po magbago. What we're just after is for any secretary to have at least 8 undersecretaries.
and the way it is now, only 4 are authorized.
Yes, ma'am.
Plantilla.
Yes po.
And the 4 others, how do you call them?
The 4 others, ma'am, or the 4 others po, ma'am, lahat po sila, ma'am, excess. Kumbaga, yun po yung they are only coterminous with the appointing authority, which is the president. So upon after June 30, 2028, lahat po yan, ma'am, unless there's a replacement. Wala
Yung
na po.
4 na excess o yung including the 4
Yung
who
apat-
are also plantilla?
Yung 4 na excess po, ma'am.
How about the 4 who are plantilla?
The four po, ma'am, the positions are there. Any assistant any
No, you said that the 4 excess are co-term with the president and the secretary. So that means that the 4 who are not excess, who are the plantilla, will stay until the next admin.
the positions, ma'am, the positions will not be abolished.
The positions will not be abolished.
Yes, ma'am.
The persons occupying it
The-
are co-term.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you to Senator JV Ejercito for joining us. Yes. So we have 8 undersecretaries and 4 are excess, meaning the 4 are created because of the need based on the judgment of the present S&D. And the 4 plantilla are there, but the occupants of the 8 are co-term.
Yes, ma'am. Unless they are they have the CESO rank.
Yes.
Again, ma'am, yung nais lang po namin is to institutionalize these offices, the undersecretary offices, because we not necessarily their designations, because we recognize, ma'am, that it will, at the end of the day, it will depend on the emerging threats and the operational environment
So what's the
as
difference
deemed
of
necessary by the secretary.
yes, what's the difference of having only the four as plantilla positions and not having their scope? Because as you said, it may differ in terms of threats and having 4 excess. You simply wanted to expand the 4 into 8 para plantilla na yung 8. And then yung scope ng kanilang trabaho, depende yan sa S&D. But DBM says that in other agencies, usually it's just 4. Is that what you're saying? And you have reservations about increasing the plantilla of USEC to 8.
Yes, Madam Chair. We just also want to add po na per existing law, the DND are authorized with 6 undersecretaries po. Ito po yung mga function ng mga undersecretaries na yan under the existing law. The first is under Finance Affairs. Second is Civil, Veterans, and Reserve Affairs. Third is Legal and Strategic Concerns. Fourth is Internal Affairs. Fifth is Finance and Armed Force Modernization. And lastly po, Defense Technology Research and Industry Development.
Okay.
So this is based on the
only-
existing.
Only 4 are plantilla now, but you said it's covered by 6. Why
Yes,
are you not using the 2 others? Why do you say that there are 4 excess when actually there are 6?
Actually, ma'am, yung yung undersecretary for research, that's only a recent enactment under the SRDP law. So bagong dagdag lang po yung
Okay, so 5.
so 5. But as is po for, I think DBM is referring to an EO po ba yan? I don't think that's a law.
Bali,
What's the
Mr.
basis of the 6?
Bali, Mr.
Additional-
Chair, Madam Chair, our recommendation is to retain it as on 6 ASEC and 6 undersecretaries rather than 8 and 11.
No,
Since
but I'm confused because the DND says there are only 4, but the DBM says that that's actually 6. Which is which?
5 including
The new law.
5, yeah.
Oh,
Five
saan yung
including-
isa mo? Saan yung isa ng DBM na sabi niyong meron naman isa pero unfilled? You mean there's an authorized plantilla position of a USEC that DBM knows that DND is not aware of? What is the basis of your 6? Yung pang-anim.
I'm just checking right now, Madam Chair, with our technical staff, but per their information, all those items were created. The 6.
No, what is the 6? That's why. So the 4 are acknowledged. 4, according to DND, are excess. 1 is based on a new law. Okay, how about 1? The additional 1. What is it based on? You said based on law. Can you please cite the law?
That's an EO. I think that's an EO po, which we no longer subscribe.
So you must correct your statement if it's not accurate, so that we know.
We'll get back to you, Madam Chair. On this.
Okay. For the meantime, we take note that there's only 4. There's 1 because of a new law, and the proposed measure suggests 11, but there is
8,
Eight.
ma'am. 8.
8. So 3 more we see, but DBM is not supportive of this. And DBM within the hearing today must tell us the basis for the 6th plantilla, which DND is not aware of. But before that, I yield to an opening statement by Senator JV. We're just starting with DND transformation bill.
Yes, Madam Chair. Good morning. Anyway, I'm just listening regarding the first measure that is being taken up right now. But I'm here, of course, as one of the authors of the next regards to the AFP modernization, which we have been very supportive here in the Senate the past few years, no? And I think the AFP leadership knows that. that so Madam Chair, I will just reserve my questions later as we tackle AAP modernization.
Thank you, Senator JV. So we'll get back to DBM. Just as a guide to all agencies, when you speak, please ensure that you have the basis for your statements. Hindi pwedeng akala, hindi pwedeng I think, hindi pwedeng sinabihan kayo na walang basis, because if you say that is based on law, cite the law, and you must have clear coordination with the agency. How can an agency profess that they only have 4 authorized plantilla positions for undersecretary, and the DBM says, no, you have 6. Oh, don't you talk to each other? And that's what we observe in the Senate, that some agencies in the executive only see each other and speak to each other when they're in committee hearings. So we don't like and we will not tolerate inaccuracy. We do not tolerate wrong information. We must be precise, exact. So please correct yourself if it is wrong. And if you're correct, the ND must know that there are unfilled USEC positions in plantilla. Proceed.
Madam Chair, for the 5 USEC and ASEC, the legal basis is AO 218. So this is the organization of the DND. Well, the additional one, ASEC and USEC, as mentioned also by the DND, was pursuant to RA 12.
We're talking about the USEC. Ilan ba authorized? 5 or 6?
In total po, 6 USEC and 6 ASEC po yung
Yes.
authorized.
What is the 6th USEC, the basis for the 6th USEC?
For the first 5 po, 5 USEC and
Yes,
5
yung pang-anim.
ASEC, AO 218 po yung
Yung pang-anim.
legal basis. And then yung additional one po na USEC and ASEC is RA 12024 po,
Which is
yung strengthening of self-reliance defense posture po.
No. Bago nga.
Bago.
I don't understand. 4. Sabi, 4. Plus yung SRDP, 5.
5.
Ano yung pang-anim?
On our record, Madam Chair, yung sa AO 218 po is 5 USEC and 5 ASEC po yung authorized
Okay,
po.
bakit ganun? Ang akala nila, nagsisimula pa lang tayo dito ha. DND says they're only authorized for plantilla. DBM says, no, you're authorized 6. O yun na, we're starting with this bill. How can I proceed with my hearing if the 2 agencies do not even understand each other? Because how can I even increase it to the ask of 8 if the start hindi pareho? We must be aligned. We must agree. Ilan ba talaga? O continue, then we will hear you.
Madam Chair, dun po sa section 1 po ng AO 218, yung 5 offices po na undersecretary, ito po yung function po nila: Defense Affairs, Civil Veterans and Reserve Affairs, Legal Affairs and Strategic Concern, Internal Affairs, and then lastly po, Finance and
Okay, so
Armed
there are
Forces.
5.
There
Plus
are
the new
5
law,
po.
SRDP, 6.
Another one po.
Yes, D&D. Bakit po hindi nyo alam?
Ay.
Kasi, so 2 na lang ang hinihingi yung dagdag sa ating panukalang batas.
Actually, Your Honor, 3 pa po sana. Kasi po, yung isa po, for the longest time, I think during the previous 2 administrations, yung isa pong USEC was given, yes, it's under the DND proper. The plantilla is under the DND proper, but I think it's given to PVAO po. Kasi po, yung administrator ng PVAO has the rank of an undersecretary. So, for the longest time po, na-transfer na po siya sa PVAO, and we're working under the notion po na 4 lang yung permanent undersecretaries po namin. Gawa yung hepe nga po ng PVAO is an undersecretary.
Under the DBM, is the USEC under DND the head of PVAO? Or iba pa yung head ng PVAO na dapat hindi nila binigay para align kayo na 5? How is it?
Madam Chair, on the part po of the department, yung designation po is already on part po ng DND. Our concern only is to provide the specific
Masarap. Say it again.
To provide the specific plantilla position available po for them. The designation whether saan po ma-assign yung senior official would be on the discretion na po of the agencies concerned. For this one po, under the DND po.
Oh, so you're saying that it's the DND that can designate that USEC
Kung what function po siya
for
would be
PIVAW.
assigned. Yes po. Or yung kung ano po yung authorized for them po.
They shared it with PIVAW. And if USEC, the USEC position was not designated for PIVAW, you could have used it for another USEC position. And does the head of PIVAW have to be a USEC?
Naabutan po namin, Madam Chair, it's
That's how
already
it
an
is.
undersecretary. Yes po. So I think the previous two administrations po, the previous two administrations, yung isang undersecretary position po ng DND has been allocated to PIVAW po. And the head of the PIVAW is with the rank of
And
an
you don't want to
undersecretary.
unmake that. So that means there still are, so based on what you have, 5. Except that the DND shared it with PIVAW. So yun ang USEC. So bali 4 lang. Ganun ba yun?
Bale, on our record, Madam Chair, we don't have a repository of kung saan po
Kung saan dinadala.
kung saan po dinadala or kung
Mhm.
saan po sila assign na particular function. On our record, sa GMIS po, what we have is
So you have
they
5.
are authorized po
Yes,
with
so they have 5. So no, actually, with the new law, 6 na. Nakakaintindihan na tayo. With the new law, it's 6, including PIVAW. Okay,
Yes.
it's clear. So it's clear. Yes. They're blind insofar as what are the taskings, but because PIVAW is still under the DND family, right? So that should be counted as a USEC position. And so the ask of DND now in the proposed measure is karagdagan 2 pa. 2 na lang. Kasi earlier, tinan mo how it evolves. Earlier, sabi nyo 4 lang. Tapos kinorek kayo ng DBM, 6. O, may 2 pa rin yun. So kung 4, tas gagawin 4 pa, kasi 8 ang bill, parang ang laki ng dagdag. But actually, nung sinuri natin, nakita natin hindi lang pala 4. May 5 pala kasi ang PIVAW binigay natin. May 6 pala kasi may bagong batas. So, SRDP. So 2 na lang dinadagdag. Yan na lang ang aaralin ng DBM kung kaya ba nila 2 more. Diba? Hindi mukhang 4 lang ngayon. Ang dagdag sa bill, 4. Laki, doble. Hindi, 2 lang.
Ma'am, as is po, we're operating with 4. We are currently operating with an additional
Because
4.
of a new law,
An additional 4, ma'am. So
no.
we have a total of 8 right now.
No. You're operating on 4 because the 5th is the PIVAW, USEC. And because you've not filled in the USEC based on the new law.
Madam Chair, what I'm saying is the DND is currently operating with 8 undersecretaries.
Yes, but the 4 excess.
4 excess po.
Yeah.
4 plantilla and 4 excess. Yes.
And then
Correct.
the 5th, after the 4, na plantilla is the PIVAW.
Yes.
And the 6 would be the SRDP new law. So you already have 6 plantilla.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, please. Correct? Hi. Okay. Tama ba?
Correct po, ma'am.
Yeah. So, 6. 6 ang plantilla. Ang hinihingi nyo lang, 2 dagdag.
Madam Chair,
I-clarify mo lang.
Yeah.
Oo, kasi dapat alam mo, simula pa lang tayo, Mathematics lang to, pang grade 5. 6.
Yes.
6.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, simplehan yan. We recognize Senator Dante Marcoleta. 8 ang hinihingi nyong plantilla sa panukalang batas. Sabi nyo kanina, 4 lang. Tinanong natin, hindi pala 4, meron palang pang 5. Pero binigay niya sa PIVAW. Sa ilalim naman ng DND kasama ang PIVAW. At meron palang bagong batas, SRDP. So 6. 2 na lang ang ask. So tatanong natin sa DBM, kaya ba nyo? Tama. O yun, kailangan accurate tayo. Kailangan kakaintindihan. Tama. Huwag kayong oo lang, baka mali ako I want to be told I'm wrong. So ganun mag-assess ng Tama ba, DBM?
On the part of the DBM po, our final recommendation is retain na lang po dun sa 6 and 6. Since sa yung SRDP po, kaka-implement pa lang po niya. So, we are yet to assess yung capacity of the
Okay.
unit itself.
Okay.
Po, ano.
So it's not for excess. Because of the new law, meron ng isa galing sa bagong batas. At yung sa PVAW, plantilla din yon. Bago sa dalawang administrasyon na ang PVAW ay USEC, what was the head of PVAW considered? USEC already? USEC level? No. Sino pong head ng PVAW? Yes. Opo, yung head po ng PVAW is a USEC. Tama. USEC po. Okay. So, yung sinasabi nyo, you're operating on 4 plantilla kasi yung isa binigay nyo sa PVAW. Tama?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes.
Which we were only made aware just now po.
Kaya
Naklaro lang po namin.
scope pag kayo na sa hearing ko, kaya nga kasi alam nyo, ito complete staff work. Balik tayong FBR time. Complete staff work. Ito ha, I mean, pasensya na. I'll just have to say it. Hindi pwedeng discovery ang ating mga hearing. Mag-aaral, magbabasa, mag-uusap, magko-coordinate. Imagine we're just starting with the first provision of the bill. An agency doesn't even know ilan ba ang ating plantilla. Hinihingi nyo 8 kasi 4 lang ang authorized. Tapos natuklasan nyo ngayon, 6 pala. May bagong batas pala. Di plantilla yan. Gamitin nyo. Hingin nyo kay DBM. DBM, panindigan nyo yung bagong batas. So, yung excess niya, 2 na lang. Tapos, si PVAW, dahil 2 administrations na siyang USEC, dapat considered na yan, hindi excess. Dapat yan sa plantilla. So, ang ating didiskusyon na lang, kaya ba ng DBM ng 2 pa? Tama. Yun. Ganun. Do we hear an opening statement from Senator Dante Marcoleta? Wala pa. Okay. Thank you. Tama ba ho ako? Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, 2 na lang. 2 na lang ang tawad natin. Tama? Masaya kayo. Okay. Simply put, paano makakatulong ang karagdagang 2 plantilla positions under the Transformative Act? How would it help? And what is the scope of this, considering one is deployed in PVAW? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The additional undersecretaries actually acknowledges that the specialization of and the new security domains that are already present. Among those areas really is the cybersecurity component, which across the department, we saw the necessity of giving a specialized leadership on such area because we also have the armed forces already specializing and strengthening its efforts on operational tactical levels in terms of cybersecurity. So that leadership complementation is necessary to be established as well. It used to be operated within among the functions of former leaderships, but when it became more prominent over time, we saw the necessity of having it more present. And given that there's also the emergence of artificial technology already becoming more present in terms of security and defense, the necessity of having an undersecretary for such we find important. Another component.
To know, what's the difference of having that undersecretary? You have it now, pero hindi siya plantilla. It's just the benefits. But it was created under the present dispensation.
Yes, ma'am. The difference, ma'am, is that we already have a specialized office that looks into the substantive and technical components of cybersecurity and technological threats. The reason why it's necessary to have a difference in it cannot be just necessarily subsumed under strategic policy or resource management, because cybersecurity is a platform in its own domain.
It's only in this administration, or how many years did we have the Undersecretary for Information Systems and Cybersecurity?
Just now, ma'am.
How
Just
many
now.
years?
A few months. It was
Only a
created.
few months,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
even 2022.
No, ma'am. Because
Why not?
because we're also trying to be prudent in terms of our organizational expansion, but knowing that there's really a need to have a specialization, we saw it
I
necessary
think
to
that's
have
very
it.
late.
Well, we're trying to correct it,
Very
ma'am.
del-
Yes, ma'am.
Just a few months, cybersecurity. The warfare has long gone from land and air to cyber.
That's right,
And
ma'am.
not just 2022, 10 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Five.
That's right, ma'am. And that's why when we were looking at it and we're using it within just as a subtopic of certain leadership, senior leaderships in the department, we saw that there is really a need to make it a specialized office already, ma'am.
So now there's a USEC for cybersecurity and information.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is that USEC? Who is that USEC?
That's Yusek De Leon, ma'am. Currently on official travel, ma'am. But he's already serving also. Currently, we're having concurrent functions. He's also the Undersecretary for Defense Affairs, but concurrent Undersecretary for Cyber because we're
Defense
still
affairs is too general.
internal security components, ma'am. It's covering internal security components and also other AFP concerns.
How can that be? I don't understand. There's a USEC for defense affairs. Pero,
Yes, ma'am.
siya din ang USEC for information system and cybersecurity.
Naghahanap pa po kami, ma'am, ng nag-aantay lang po kami ng appointment, ma'am, for the USEC for cyber, ma'am.
Hindi pa siya yung specialty for cyber.
Yes, ma'am. Nag-aantay po. Kaya, ma'am, it's very, very new, but we know that it's already necessary to have specialization for that.
Convince me, why is there a need for 8? Ayan, balik tayo. Bakit nyo hinihingi na may 8 na plantilla? Is this because, but you're saying that the scope or the coverage of the tasks are left, it's blank, depending on the S&D. I may give you 8 now, I may pass it into law. What if in 2028, the next S&D will not care about cyber or information systems and you have 8, but no, because we are not naming the scope or coverage of that USEC, then walang cyber. It will go back to not protecting ourselves insofar as cybersecurity is concerned.
Yes, ma'am. The reason why, well, the current Undersecretary roster now covers Defense Affairs, which is Undersecretary for National Defense, which is the number 2 of the Secretary. The Defense Affairs looks into the AFP component, the operational component of the armed forces, and all other operational activities of the defense. The strategic assessment and planning is focused on strategy and policy, which is also very heavy in terms of defense. Acquisition resource management, side by side with strategy, capability building is a huge component of the Defense Department. You also have the Civil Veteran and Reserve Affairs because a component of
The civil veterans and reserve affairs, yun na yung PIVAW?
No,
Iba
it's
pa?
different, ma'am.
Different. Mm.
And then the information system and cybersecurity, as noted earlier, specializes in
Ito yung newly created.
yes, ma'am. And then also newly created is a Defense Technology Research and Industry Development for SRDP. This is created by law. And the USEC for Administration is looking at all the enabling components of the Defense Department. So that includes human resource.
So if you gave one USEC position to PIVAW, this is 8 without the PIVAW. Paano nangyari na 8 kayo pero wala naman dito yung PIVAW? Ano, pang 9?
Yes, ma'am. Technically, ma'am, the PIVAW is 9. If to account, that's the reason why if you made the good ASEC was discussing that we're only operating with 4 because there is all the PIVAW also operates distinct and different. Although it's part of the defense family, it also operates different and distinct to the department proper.
So you actually have 9 USECs.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. On
with
paper.
PIVAW.
Yes, ma'am.
But the others are not filled. No, but because right now the defense
It's all-
affairs and cyber, it's just one person.
Yes, ma'am. We are just awaiting for appointment. We're hoping that we get.
How many warm bodies do you have? USEC?
We have 8, ma'am.
8. Because defense and cyber are one
Yes,
person.
ma'am.
Until that one person comes sa cyber, magiging 9.
Yes, ma'am.
But the ask in the proposed bill is 8.
Yes, ma'am.
including PVAU. So short na naman kayo.
The PVAU, ma'am, to be honest, ma'am, is not accounted on the 8 because as I noted earlier, because PVAU is operating distinct and separate from DND proper, the operations, the 8 will cover the actual operations of DND
So,
proper.
Okay, so you're asking for 9.
In total, ma'am, if we
Yeah,
include
it's 8
PVAU,
plus
ma'am.
1.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
8 plus PVAU. So you now have 4 SRDP 5, PVAU 1. Then you need 4 more.
Yes, ma'am.
And DBM said, but it still does not satisfy me if the next S&D does not will not see the value in cybersecurity without us naming the scope or coverage of each USEC. Maaring may 9, pero wala pa rin yung cyber.
What we see, ma'am, is because of the dynamics of security and defense, which has a lot of emerging areas of threats. The limitation of putting specific names in undersecretaries might limit also the department in becoming more dynamic and flexible in the leaderships as we need. For instance, in the past, we did not see how cybersecurity really plays into the entire defense and security arena. But now that we're looking at how warfare is being undertaken, we see that it's really just a button that they're just pushing to undertake that. And so, if we are to name specifically the undersecretaries, we might also be limiting the secretary to be more responsive and future proofing the defense and security of the country.
What are the repercussions if this bill is not passed and you only have, what's the present, 5? 5 or 6? Ano ba yun talaga ngayon? Na-confuse na ako sa inyo. Plantilla, 5 plantilla.
That's operating under DND proper.
No, 4, 5 plus the SRDP 6.
Yes, ma'am.
6.
Yes, ma'am. Including PVAU. That includes
Including
the PVAU.
PVAU.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
If we are not able to pass this, ma'am, we will continue to render a defense department incapable of adjusting to current and future threats. The reason why it's expanding is not because it just wants to get fat. It wants to be able to see leaderships down the line and organizations in the department that would be responsive and responsible to whatever will be threatening our country.
On one hand, people can multitask, and a number is a number. 6 or 9, does it make us more strategic? Does it make us better? Does it protect our people better? So, pwedeng sabihin, mag-multitask ka lang at saka hindi naman yung ma-fill up yung mga plantilla nyo eh. On the other hand, the reason why defense can have 8 or 9 as compared to the other departments, and because this is the defense of our nation, our people, our land and our sea. And because you're defending not just the physical land area, but you're defending 112 million Filipinos even in the cyberspace. Right? That's how to defend it. Ayan, yun ang dahilan nyo. So, yes. And what are you talking about education if you can't even defend your people? What agriculture are you talking about if all our minerals will be extracted by foreigners at no benefit to the local communities? What are you talking about defending our people or having infrastructure, let's say in public works, if people are dying in floods, etc.? So this is really the overarching defense of our nation would be the DND, because we are defending our people not just militarily and strategically, but this is the lifeblood of our nation in terms of environment, military, economic lifeblood of our people, because those are all the aspects of national security: religious, economic, military, and ano pa? Political dimension, right? How many dimensions are there in national security? NDCP, are you here? Yes.
Six, ma'am.
DND muna.
6, ma'am.
6 na ngayon. Panahon ko, 4 lang. Sige.
Oo.
Okay, ASEC. No, I want to ask Yusek Mison. Nag-NDCP po kayo?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, maski nandi
But it's
NDCP. I just want to... Huh?
They have the acronym PESTEM. Political, economic,
No,
technology.
Baka nagbago na ako kasi 1992 pa ako nag-NDCP. O sige, si ASEC, parang bihasa si ASEC eh. ASEC, ilan sa alam nyo ang aspects ng national security, then we get updated from the National Defense College?
The widening of the security components not necessarily is just on military. It also includes social, cultural, environment, technological, legal, economic, and political. Did I count
Okay.
it right? A lot.
Anyway,
I
during
forget
our time, the aspects, the dimensions of national security circa 1992. Okay? Economic, political, military, socio-cultural. 4 lang kami noon. Ngayon meron ng technological. Yun lang dinagdag. May we hear from NDCP? Yes. Update us.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, so that Senator Marcoleta and I may be educated with the updates on the various dimensions of national security. Thank you.
I took my MNSA, ma'am, in 2009. And the years after that, we were taught that there are 6 dimensions of national security. In addition to the 4 mentioned by our Madam Chair, the college added 2, and these are environmental and techno-scientific. So that completes the PESTEM acronym.
Please proceed. Pakiulit po, we were having a short discussion. Ilan na ang dimensions po kayo?
Your Honor, circa 2010, the dimensions of national security are 6. In addition to the 4 you mentioned, ma'am, political, economic, sociocultural, and military, 2 were added, and these are environmental and techno-scientific, which completes the PESTEM acronym. Environmental, ma'am, and techno-scientific. Sociocultural, ma'am.
Thank you for that. Be ready, NDCP, to give us a briefing on 101. All the dimensions of national security based on the 6. Prepare a PowerPoint for us. I want to be re-educated and updated.
With pleasure, ma'am.
Sino po ang presidente ng NDCP ngayon?
I am the president of the college,
You're the
ma'am.
president.
Director Christine Carino, ma'am.
Okay, hindi ko nakita. You're the president of NDCP now?
Yes, ma'am.
The first female president?
The second one after 2 decades, ma'am.
Oh, really?
First one was Dr. Clarita Carlos, ma'am,
Si
in
Claire, anong year si
1999.
Claire naging presidente?
1999, ma'am, until 2001.
Okay, I studied in NDCP in 1992. Yes, I was 32 years old. Anyway, I yield to Senator Dante Marcoleta. He has questions about another bill that's being taken up, which is part of this cluster we are currently discussing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I thought that I need to bring this up considering that it is subsumed in the entire discussion of the military plantilla. Kasi it's good that the National Defense College of the Philippines is here. I am interested in one section of this bill, Senate Bill number 146, in Chapter 4, it includes Section 42, which is about organization, mission, and function. This is about the armed forces of the Philippines. In our last meeting at the Commission on Appointments, there came up a topic about Command and General Staff Course. Parang yung mga PMAers yata are required to undergo a course called Command and General Staff Course. It was mentioned very briefly in that Commission on Appointments hearing where we were about to confirm 34 members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Doon kasi lumilitaw, Senator Ping mentioned a certain personality by the name of Tomas Cloma. And he asked the representative of the 34 members of the AFP were about to be confirmed whether he knew about Tomas Cloma. So sa kanilang exchange, Madam Chair, it was pointed out that Tomas Cloma was the one who discovered the Spratlys.
Research niya. I knew Mr. Cloma and I interviewed him as a young journalist. His granddaughter is Rizabel Cloma, who was a journalist also. I will have it researched. In the 80s or 90s, I interviewed Tomas Cloma, who discovered the Spratly Islands.
I will probably quote from the transcript of that committee hearing, Madam Chair, which is attributed to Senator Lacson about Tomas Cloma. And I quote this. During the Commission on Appointments hearing for the confirmation of ad interim appointments of members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, last 4 February 2026, a colleague noted that lawyer and adventurer Tomas Cloma discovered the Spratly Islands and occupied them as under res nullius. Whoever discovers and occupies the land is recognized as the owner. Cloma turned over the ownership of the land to the Philippine government. Is this the course adopted, Madam? Yun ba yung pagkakaalam natin that Tomas Cloma was the one who discovered the Spratly Islands?
That's an story.
Allow me to explain. Sinabi kasi ni Senator Ping doon, as the one who discovered, allegedly, the Spratly Islands, he turned over it to the Philippine government. And he said that President Marcos Sr. formalized that turnover. Yan ba yung part ng course? Is the syllabus really very clear on this, that Tomas Cloma discovered the Spratly Islands and it was turned over to the Philippine government because he was the one who discovered it? Yun ba yung history na pinag-aaralan dito sa Command and General Staff Course? Kasi ito yung kinuwento ni Senator Ping, and it seems to me that Captain Pilar, who represented the 34 members of the Armed Forces, confirmed that. I just want to confirm now before you kung talagang ito yung tinuturo sa course na ito.
Good morning to our distinguished senator.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
I may be allowed to respond, sir. If the statement came from the AFP Command and General Staff College, I believe...
No, this statement came from Senator Ping. That's why I'm trying to clarify and have it confirmed kung totoo ito ang itinuturo. Kasi sabi nung captain, he took this course in Camp Crame. Sabi ni Senator Ping, when he took this course in 1983, he took it in Fort Bonifacio. So nagkakaalaman sila about this course. But I'm talking about Tomas Cloma. Ito ba yung tinuturo sa course na siya nag-discover and he turned over it to the government of the Philippines?
If I may, the General and Staff College, GSC, which I also took, is a different college from the National Defense College of the Philippines. Is the GSC represented here? Yes. Perhaps, Senator Marcoleta, if the statement made to your honor was sa GSC, maybe the GSC would be in a better position to answer if this basic information on the Spratlys is being taught.
Yes, that is better, Madam Chair,
Yes,
because I
rather
thought
than
that the
Iba po yung National Defense
baka
College.
akala ko kasama rin doon
Iba
sa
po yung General Staff College, although parehong alma mater ko. But may I, hindi sa ayaw ko pagsalitain ng ating presidente ng NDCP, pero sabi nyo, GSC ang nagtuturo niyan. Nung panahon ko, ba't hindi tinuro sa akin yan? Kasi alam ko
Yes.
na yun eh. So anyway, pakisagot po. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Your Honor. For the CGSE class, we only have 7 modules, and we are not aware that if this history is being taught of that included in the module. Our module only consists of international security and military strategies, leadership and resources management, contemporary security challenges, strategic communication, OPART, and joint and combined operations.
So let me be clarified. Anong pangalan niya? Hindi ko po makita yung pangalan niyo. Will you please identify yourself?
Brigadier General Alexander Gigantone, sir.
General, am I now made to understand that Thomas Cloma is not a part of this Command and General Staff course?
As I am aware of, sir, none, sir. But I have to check with the course director himself, sir. And I'll get back to you, sir.
Yes, because I'd like to inform you that Senator Ping mentioned this during our hearing, and Captain Pilar responded quite quickly that he knew also Thomas Cloma. At hindi siya, kinonfirm niya yung sinasabi ni Senator Lacson because he did not object to the narratives that was fed to us. Sinabi niya, Thomas Cloma is the one who discovered Spratly Islands. And as the discoverer, he owns it. So dinonate niya sa Pilipinas, and this was formalized by President Marcos Sr. As a matter of fact, sabi niya, this was also formalized by the arbitral ruling. He was referring to the 2012 arbitration in the South China Sea arbitration.
Yes, sir.
So wala ito sa course ninyo?
We don't have military history module in our CGSE.
Bakit kaya niya sinabi na, did you take up your Command General Staff course at Port Bonifacio? Sabi niya. Sabi naman ni Captain Pilar, no sir, I took it at at Camp Crame. So parang nagkakaalaman sila na meron talagang Command and General Staff course. And do you know kanya Thomas Cloma? Yes sir. Doon niya in-introduce na si Thomas Cloma is the one who discovered Spratly Islands. So
Sir,
walang course na ganito.
Wala po, Your Honor. As of now, Your Honor. Probably in the past there's a military history, but I can only
I'm
surmise.
very interested in this because it should be corrected kung talagang nandun si Thomas Cloma. It should not be distorted. Thomas Cloma is a seafarer. He's not a discoverer. In 1956, he proclaimed a freedom land. It's like a notice of claim. That was in 1956. And several countries objected to that. United Kingdom, the United States, Australia, Japan, China, and the Philippines. That is the history. Alam niyo kung bakit nag-object ang mga countries na ito? Because at that time, in 1956, Spratly Islands is not considered terra nullius. Meaning, hindi siya undiscovered, hindi siya unoccupied. As a matter of fact, in 1897, Great Britain already notified the world by issuing a notice of claim. After that, when that claim was abandoned, France took over. Until in 1933, Japan served a notice of claim copy furnishing the United States of America. We were then a colony of America. That was in 1933. And Japan called the Spratly Islands Sinangunto. Tayo tinawag nating Kalayaan Island Group. I'm trying to emphasize this, General. Ang dami kasing ang daming mga disinformation and misinformation Paano nilang sasabihin na somebody donated this to the government? But this is not the whole point now Alam ninyo, apat na territories ng ating Spratly Islands, are already territories of the Philippines. Simply because we occupied them. Tayo nag-occupy na dito eh. And somebody is suggesting na sinasabi ko raw, I'm trying to remove the KIG from the territory of this country by presenting a spliced narrative. Ito yung mabigat dito eh. No less than a senator of the republic did this. We'll come to this in proper time. Gusto ko lamang paalam na alam niyo si Tomas Cloma was mentioned in the arbitral award only in pages 250 and 251. Sinasabi ng tribunal, a certain Filipino and his associates had some activities in this Spratly, sabi niya. Yun lang, na-mention. Doon lang siya na-mention. And parang nagkataon lang na nakarating sa Ito Aba and nagkaroon lang ng konti sigurong kung ano-ano pinagagawa nila doon. That was the only time that this Tomas Cloma was mentioned in the arbitration tribunal. So baka po tinuturo sa Command and General Staff Course.
Your Honor, as I said, sir, we only have modules not including the history, Your Honor.
So yung pinagsasabi ni Senator Ping are all distortions.
I have to find out, Your Honor.
It's borne out by our TSN. May transcript po kami.
Probably in the old CGSC classes, in the 80s or 90s, Your Honor, there's a part of history, but I can only surmise on that, Your Honor.
So, sinasabi ko lang po, ako kailanman hindi ko sinabi, I'm trying to remove the KIG from the territory of this country. I never, not even a suggestion. Alam po ninyo, it was misquoted several times here. When we were meeting at the CA, I was only trying to emphasize two things. The difficulty of plotting the West Philippine Sea because of several obstacles. There are 3 articles of the UNCLOS that will be contradicted if we will encircle West Philippine Sea with the KIG. Pero hindi ko po problema yon. Problema na ng NAMRIA kung paano natin gagawin. I hope we can help NAMRIA plot the map of the West Philippine Sea in our lifetime. Pero hindi ko kailanman sinadjust. Sinabi ko lang, napakahirap talaga kako. Alam mo, after 14 years, you may want to look back at Administrative Order number 29, which was issued by President Pinoy in 2012. At that time, he already instructed the NAMRIA and the Department of Foreign Affairs to prepare the necessary maps and charts with coordinates and submit them to the United Nations and notify all relevant international organizations, including the International Hydrographics Organization, for the purpose of plotting a West Philippine Sea map as the western side of our country. I was telling them, maybe, I just said maybe, the difficulty lies in the several obstacles that they will encounter. Kasi nga nasa high seas na lahat yun eh. I'm not talking about territory. I'm only talking about the West Philippine Sea. How we can encircle that part of the ocean, most of which is already the high seas. Kasi nagbiro lang ako. It was a hypothetical statement when I said, well, you want to give up the KIG para ma-encircle mo. But that was highly hypothetical. It was not even a suggestion. Sabi ko pa nga kung pwede lang nating ilipat sana sa EEZ natin, but you cannot do that. Only God knows. Or only God can do that. So, General, so many times I'm being misquoted by several people, including a retired justice of the Supreme Court. In due time, we will meet all them. Kasi naggawa na po ako ng resolution. I will ask the NAMRIA and ask all these people trying to paint me as the villain and they as the national hero of the Philippines. So salamat po, General, sa pagkakasabi mo. And now I am relieved na hindi pala part ng Command and General Staff Course, which was erroneously cited by Senator Ping in our discussion at the last CA hearing. Thank you. And I think you should also look into this. Kayo pala yung national, what do you call it?
National Defense College of the Philippines, Your Honor.
Sana po mag-coordinate kayo kay General because they are also in that course. Baka lumabas na naman si Tomas Cloma, kung ano na naman ang pagsasasabihin nila. So yun lang po yung point why I came in. I'm interested in being able to look at how our armed forces are educated. Ang gusto ko po talagang mangyari rito sa buhay natin, in our lifetime, we should be able to plant the West Philippine Sea on the western side of this country like what Vietnam did. Alam po ninyo yung ginawa ng Vietnam? Nakagawa sila ng Gulf of Tonkin. Now, titingnan po ninyo ang mapa ng South China Sea. The Gulf of Tonkin is there because it is registered in the S-23. What is S-23? What is that? S-23 is the limits of oceans and seas. It is published by International Hydrographics Organization. Naglaban sila ng China. Nanalo ang Vietnam. Now, tingnan po ninyo ang South China Sea. Meron silang Gulf of Tonkin. But what about our West Philippine Sea? Hanggang ngayon, wala. Dahil hindi ginagawa ng NAMRIA ang sinabi in 2012. Alam niyo pinalabas nila ngayon, I think nagpalabas sila. They showed them up. Last Wednesday. Tingnan po ninyo kung anong nilabas ng NAMRIA. It was an administrative map. What is an administrative map? Ano po ibig sabihin ng administrative map, Madam?
I have to request your indulgence, Your Honor. I'm not an expert on maritime concerns.
An administrative map is a map that delineates the political subdivision of our country. Makikita nyo doon ang regions and the provinces. Ito ginawa nila. Tingnan ninyo, it was published, dated December 2025. That is not the kind of map needed by the United Nations. That is not the kind of map needed by the IHO. It should be a map accompanied by charts with coordinates. Para sa ganun, we can notify the whole world, the whole international community that we would like to allocate that purely for the Philippines. Ilagay natin sa mapa yon. There are obstacles, I know that, but we should work on the obstacles. The NAMRIA should work on this. Hindi yung sasabihin nila na, I'm saying all the difficulties, I'm not trying to isolate anything from our territory. Di ba sinasabi natin, we cannot give up an inch of our territory. Alam niyo kung pahabayan ko lang ang discussion na to? It was the retired Justice of the Supreme Court who gave up 242,000 of our territorial sea away. I will prove that in several days to come. Tayo, sinasabi natin, even an inch of our territory, we will not give up. Tama naman yon, ilalaban natin yon. Pero siya, dahil sa pagdedesisyon niya ng mali, the Republic Act 9522 of 2011, somebody raised it to the Supreme Court on issue of constitutionality. Ang akala ko naman alam niya ang ginagawa niya. Ang nawala sa atin, territorial sea, Madam, 242,030 square nautical miles. That's more than the area, that's more than the land area of this country. The land area of this country is about 300,000 square kilometers. How much is 242,000 square miles, Madam? That's about 629,000 square kilometers. Kaya sinasabi ko, siya yung traidor. Ayaw niyang pag-usapan ito because it happened. Gusto niyang palawakin to, tingnan natin lahat. Ang territorial sea, Madam, including our land area, ito yung ating territory. It was defined by our national territory provision of the Constitution. Look at your 1935 Constitution. Look at your 1973 Constitution and the 1987 Constitution. We did not give up any inch of our territory, including of our territorial seas. The retired Justice of the Supreme Court did that. I'm sorry, I need to say all this. To allay all those false statements and misinformation. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Did I give you enough time?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you very much for the time.
Yes, I'm sorry I had to take a call because I wanted to give the time to my colleague to clarify certain statements. I apologize, I did not hear what you said, but whatever he says is what he says.
You'll be able to read what I said anyway, madam.
I
Because
will
of the
read
transcript.
the transcript of records and whatever clarification the good senator has said, I would suggest that you state it in plenary so that it is in record in the plenary session, whatever it has. Then we proceed with our bills.
Thank you.
So kayo po, it's never too late to take up GSE. It's never too late to take Masters in National Security.
Provided
Maski na batikan na abogado na kayo.
provided they will exclude the Thomas Cloma issue.
Totoo naman yun ah. Hindi
Hindi, wala pala sa... The general already confirmed it to me.
it may not be the classes, but
Yeah.
it's historical fact. In fact, sino ang bihasa? Who can give us the historical perspective of the Spratlys? Because when I was a young journalist in the 80s, anong taon yun? Thomas Cloma interview ko. Google yun. Tanong mo kay Jane, ngayon na. Eh, kanino ko pa sinabi 30 minutes ago eh. In-interview ko po si Thomas Cloma sa bahay niya sa Quezon City. Tawagan si Rizabel Cloma. Yung apo niyang si Rizabel, nandun. But retired na si Rizabel. That was like, I was in my 20s. And I interviewed Thomas Cloma. And we talked about the Spratlys in the 80s. And then, fast forward 1992, I took up my master's in national security at 32 years old. At the Blue Book, one of our exams, maybe term paper, was on the South China Sea issue on the Spratlys. Eh, wala pang computer, no, wala pang soft copy. Handwritten ko yun sa isang Blue Book ko. Mahahanap kaya ng NDCP yung Blue Book ni Loren Legarda noong 1992. Kung meron yun, as early as 1992 po, ay sumusulat na ako about the Spratly Islands.
Madam Chair, wala po akong problema kay Thomas Cloma kung ang pinag-uusapan lang, nakarating siya sa EDCA, kasama niya yung kanyang mga associates, sapagat nakarecord ito sa history ng arbitration. At siya rin naman ay nakapunta sa kanyang mga associates. Very briefly, sabi ng arbitration, nandun siya, pero wala siyang residence doon, hindi man siya nangisda doon. They were talking about the historical rights of who fish in that area, who mined in that area. So nabanggit talaga ang pangalan niya na he had some activities, although briefly, in the Spratlys as well as in EDCA. Yun ay hindi natin pwedeng alisin sa history. Ngunit kung itinuturo po nila na Thomas Cloma ay siyang nag-discover ng Spratlys, ang dami pong bansa ang talagang nag-object. Kaya baka mamamali po yung mga estudyante na magte-take up ng course na yan. At lalong-lalo naman, hindi niya i-donate because paano niya po i-donate? On record po ito, the Philippines is one of those countries who objected kasi nga hindi siya terra nullius eh. Meaning to say, there are a lot of discoveries already prior to 1956 when he declared a freedom land. Yun lang po ang part na dapat wag nating susundin dahil mali yun. Lalong-lalo naman na sinabing dinonate at yan daw ay formalized sa Presidential Decree 1596. Maling-mali po yun. Kahit basahin po ninyo yung PD 1596, wala pong sinasabi tungkol kay Thomas Cloma. Yun po yung lang gusto kong burahin natin. Pag-aari po natin yung occupied territories natin not because they were discovered or donated by Thomas Cloma. Pag-aari natin simply because nandun ang mga tao natin and we have effective control. Under public international law, kung sino merong effective control, siya yung may-ari. That's the status now. So wag nating sasangkot si Thomas Cloma sa mga bagay na hindi tama para sa kanya. So yun lang pong i-correct natin. Let us cleanse the part of that course na pinalalabas na discoverer siya at dinonate na at pinormalize ni President Marcos in his presidential decree. That was all wrong. That is historical distortion. I think that is very, very clear, General.
Thank you po.
So, nakikinig.
Pasensya na po.
Oh.
1991 po, nakilala ko si Tomas Cloma. Oo, 1991 pala. Sige. Nakinig po ako. Sige, then I'll have a transcript. Have you clarified? You want to read something to record?
Na kailangan lang alisin dun sa historical record kung tinuturo man si Thomas Cloma, huwag namang ilalagay siya na siyang nag-discover because ang daming bansa pong nag-object kasama ng Pilipinas. Alam po ninyo kung sinong nag-object sa panig ng Pilipinas at that time when Thomas Cloma declared a freedom land? Do you know who represented our country when he himself objected to the declaration of Thomas Cloma? Alam po ba ninyo kung sino? He was then our Secretary of Foreign Affairs, who later became President of the Philippines. Who is he? Carlos P. Garcia. Salamat po, Madam Chair.
We proceed. Thank you, Senator Marcoleta. Oo, opo. Opo,
Okay ka na, hindi ka na.
opo, opo. Thank you. Okay. We proceed. Where did we take off?
I would just finish the undersecretary.
Yeah, the undersecretary issue. Sige.
But we can proceed here.
Yes, can we proceed to the key points of the measure? We're now 1.19. We're the lowest in ASEAN on the percentage of GDP. Now, it says in our proposed measure, 2% of GDP gradual increase within a 5-year period on defense spending. Yes, may we hear from DBM and DOF, is this possible?
Madam Chair, for the proposal of 2% spending out of the GDP, per our record based on the FY 2026 BSF, so our GDP level based on, since ang proposal po ay on the preceding year, so FY 2025 actual GDP level is at 26 billion 446,000 46 trillion 446,369 million po. So with this po, as compared with the overall DND budget po for the FY 2026 GAA of 429 billion 406,208, magkakaroon po ng deficit of around 137 billion po to cover with the proposal po. In this regard, in view of our tight fiscal position po, we have reservation po for this proposal. And our recommendation is to undergo po yung budget based on the usual budget process po, so that the Congress as well as the DBM in terms of budget preparation could be able to scrutinize yung accomplishment as well as financial capacity of the DND in performing their particular programs and project to be shovel ready in the particular year po. That's all for the stance po of the department.
Department of Finance, may we hear from them? Are they present? Yes.
Your Honor, not from DOF proper, but from the Bureau of the Treasury. Your Honor, similar to the position of the DBM, the Treasury, that it is the Treasury's position, subject to any forthcoming official position from our Bureau. It is the Treasury's position to avoid earmarking of funds which encumbers the National Treasury. Although it is admitted, Your Honor, that the language of Section 18 of said bill, which provides for the progressive increase to 2% of the GDP for the DND's budget, it maintains the word progressive, which implicitly maintains the regular budget process in some sense, because it is not a hard earmark, it's progressive. It may still be construed as a directive to achieve the 2% GDP, which would be quite cumbersome, or not quite, but really cumbersome for the Treasury. As mentioned by the DBM, there would be a deficit ranging to the hundreds of billions just to cover the target mentioned in said bill.
That would be all, Your Honor.
Thank you. What would the impact be of a 2% of GDP spending on defense? Maybe hear from the Defense Department.
Good morning, Madam Chair. General Papera, ma'am. I'm in charge of the Armed Forces Modernization. The 2% increase, the 2% of the GDP for the armed forces, especially for the Defense Department, will greatly impact on our modernization. Historically, the limitations of budget provided for the armed forces is not enough to cover the different horizons as designed by our capability plans. So the significant increase will provide for more capabilities for the armed forces. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, the present spending is 1.19 of GDP.
1.1, I forgot the
Yes.
next decimal.
Oo.
Next.
Where would the additional spending be focused on? And how will it ensure that we are not just militarily ready, but actually preventive, but really safeguarding the welfare of our people?
As it is right now, Madam Chair, we need the naval bases. We need air bases. We expect the influx of more equipment, which will need more funds to maintain. Now, national security is an intangible aspect that we need to invest. To invest upon. It makes us a good neighbor, a good citizen of the globe or of the region. If we have a stable national security in our country, we invite more investors. They know that they can rely on the Philippines to on its commitment. So national security is there, but it's a broad concept that is you just do not get the benefits, tangible benefits. That's as you may say, as compared to other service not necessarily quantifiable as in other services, Madam Chair. If we are to say, sir, we need to carry our own weight in this part of the region. And we are doing that, and we need, if there are investments, we want more naval bases, air bases, we want more presence, we want to be seen as a good partner in the region and carrying our own weight and not just relying on others.
How many naval bases do we have right now, and how many additional naval bases do we need?
We are not at liberty to disclose the number of naval bases.
We're not.
Yes,
It's a security issue. We
Yes.
can't say it in open hearing.
Yes,
Mhm.
but we need bigger ones with deeper drafts.
Please proceed.
And to add, Mr. Chair, as previously mentioned by the Secretary during previous hearings, pag hindi po natin sinimulan gumasta po ngayon, lahat po yan nagmamahal. So, maaaring kailangan po natin ngayon, down the line, doble, triple na po yung presyo.
Okay, from percent, because whenever we say it's percentage of GDP, depende yan din sa pangangailangan at depende yan sa saan mapupunta. And there's always a need, even if we increase to 2% of GDP. We proceed to the item on procurement. How is the procurement done now? The new Procurement Act, how is it implemented insofar as the DND is concerned? And based on this measure, how can it improve your procurement if you're exempted, or if the DND can procure in a multi-year level? Right now, you're not allowed to procure multi-year. Is it a year-to-year thing? Please explain.
Now, for
Thank
the
you.
first one, ma'am, we follow Republic Act 12009. So we observe the processes of 12009. On the multi-year level, we are allowed with multi-year contracting authority to purchase items from 5 to 7 years. So it's this being done. What we want, Madam Chair, is that we want to directly negotiate for bespoke items on national defense, especially on cyber. We cannot just publish our specs on the open market. Like if we want some downlink on satellites, we need to fence those data. We cannot give it in the open.
How is it now? Is it because your budgets are GAA years, which is effective for 2 years, you can only purchase for that year?
DBM is giving us the opportunity to do multi-year contracting. So they're giving us funds for year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until year 7. So that completes the contract phase.
How will this be
But for bigger projects, sample like a geostationary satellite, missile defense, electronic warfare, the funds will not be enough.
How will the provision on procurement affect the DND in a favorable manner, assuming we enact this measure?
If included in the provisions is for foreign financing, that will increase the tenor of the payment, pay for the equipment on a longer term. That's one. If we can have that in place.
Enable us to invest in emerging technology.
And of course, if we are to be part of the global community, we want to invest also in emerging technologies because we can benefit from it. Right now, we are not allowed to do that.
The bills we're studying allow special defense acquisition. Is it accurate to say that we are exempting the procurement of the DND if this bill is enacted into law from the new Government Procurement Act through negotiated procurement with foreign governments? May I hear from a DOF and the DBM and then the DND? How will this benefit you?
Madam Chair, our attached agency, GPPB, is present po. They can further elaborate their stance po on the matter. May I request po to recognize Miss Annie Almuela for the matter. Thank you.
Basa na nyo yung measure? Oo. Yes, please explain the repercussions and if you're supportive of this and what are the safeguards needed based and to address the needs of the DND.
At the outset, ma'am, we are supportive of the bill, especially 1816 and 146, insofar as the procurement provision is concerned. Let me just zoom in section 19 of 1816, because insofar as executive agreements are concerned, it has always been recognized in 9184 and 12009, so no problem with that. Under section 4.2 of the new law, it's institutionalized there. So as long as there is an executive agreement referring to this, that's okay. Insofar as multi-year contracts are concerned, we defer to the DBM because it's a funding issue. On the last sentence of the first paragraph, we just want to suggest refinement of the language and to mirror the existing mode of procurement, negotiated procurement, national defense on defense cooperation agreements and inventory-based items procurement. It's a procurement mode specifically made for the defense-related procurement po. 1816 and 146, ma'am.
Din.
No, ma'am, we are always working closely with GPPB, and we are getting good feedback from them, especially on inventory-based procurement and defense cooperation. We always keep them informed of what's happening with us. What we don't want is us giving away our specifications, especially on like electronic warfare, the spectrum that we're working on. We cannot just announce it. We have to keep it.
These measures benefit you.
Operational security, ma'am. They will not know where we are operating.
Why?
What
Right
virus.
now?
Like
Right now, that's not being protected.
because we need to post it, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Example, ma'am.
PhilJeps, kailangan, kasi hindi kayo exempted sa PhilJeps.
Everything has to be posted.
No, pati ang D&D procurement ng mga confidential equipment nakapost. O di alam na ng kalaban lahat ng meron kayo.
Yes, ma'am. In general terms, it's posted, ma'am.
No, there should be an exemption pagdating sa security.
Yes, ma'am. Like if you want a counter UAS frequency and the range of it,
makukuha kayo kung hindi.
Hindi naman, ma'am. Hindi lang namin sinasabi lahat. But we're saying,
there must be a way that you don't have to post everything.
And even kung pwede, ma'am, sasabihin lang namin sa GPPB, meron kaming ganitong project, you can see it, but we'll not post it.
Yeah. But even the name of the project, ang dali naman ngayon intindihan Alam nila yung project.
Yes, ma'am. Like if we are to buy a counter unmanned aerial system up there.
This is where we have to balance transparency in government and anti-corruption at the same time our national security. Yeah.
We can allow a select committee from Congress to look at us.
Yeah.
Or even with GPPB, we can show it to them, but it's a select committee. We are
And
for
dapat
that.
highly confidential.
Yes, ma'am.
And not on the web.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
on the World Wide Web. You
Just
cannot.
like they have a select committee in other countries
Yes.
that reviews defense and intelligence operations.
Correct. I was going to ask you, okay, in our ASEAN neighbors, how is their procurement done? Is it also online? Linalagay nila lahat ng binibili nila?
I can't give a definitive answer, ma'am, but I'll get back to you. But most like some they go direct.
Under our new Procurement Act, kailangan naka-upload lahat.
Hindi naman, ma'am.
Naintindihan naman nila yung mga security requirements
Yes,
nyo.
ma'am. Especially if it's government to government, direct.
Hindi
We
nakalagay.
can do direct negotiations with them, but not
Direct negotiation na hindi kailangan naka-upload.
naka-upload ang title, ano?
Huh? Dapat naka-upload. Hindi pwede yun. Para tayo. Hindi pwede yun. Yun ang nakalagay sa batas namin. Mali yung aming batas kung ganun. Hanggang sa D&D, pag government to government, dapat naka-upload sa website.
I just want to note section 48.3 of the IRR of RA 12009 that it's discretionary on the part of the Secretary of National Defense whether or not to post specific requirement information relative to the project. So
Ayan na pala eh. It's discretionary. Ganito. Please draft a special provision in the GAA that would address the national security aspect of procurement, whether domestic, but especially government to government. And even if there is a procurement act, but because a GAA is a law, then we can include that in next year's GAA with the concurrence of my colleagues. And then perhaps, as you said, a special committee can just look into it. But even then, lalabas yan at lalabas pag may special committee. So have we encountered any problems because of this transparency issue?
Not yet, ma'am, but we are looking into the future when we have to do specialized infrastructure and
Yes. That's why
makikita na we will encounter problems.
so this aspect, this feature of the bill is very important. So Okay, DND. How will the DND ensure that negotiated government to government, which is what we're discussing now, procurement remains competitive, cost efficient, and transparent? But what safeguards will prevent overpricing in high value acquisitions? Does the bill's procurement flexibility provide sufficient operational agility while preserving fiscal discipline and oversight? So, while we understand the need for confidentiality and want to protect the security, how are we assured that public money is spent in a very conservative way while getting the best equipment or information and exercising fiscal discipline? How do we balance that?
The first one, ma'am, we do not just talk with one government. We talk with a lot of government. We do scoping. We know what we want. We also know the technology that's out there. We know the purpose because any procurement will be fit for purpose. So maraming gobyerno, maraming offer. We can check it.
Erwin, you had a question about
Separate.
okay. Yeah.
Now, for transparency, we have documents, we have decision packages, we have resolutions that we can show on an executive session on how it's being done.
Mm-hmm.
So we're ready to show that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we want what's only good for the troops
Mm-hmm.
in the field.
Okay. Yes. From a procurement governance standpoint, what are the safeguards and review mechanisms that the GPPB would recommend to ensure that negotiated defense procurement remains consistent with the principles of transparency, accountability, and value for money under our procurement framework? Pakisara nga yung aircon na yun ang ginawa.
In maybe by virtue of Section 31 of the Senate Bill of the Honorable Chair, we could have coordination with the DND insofar as issuing the relevant guidelines insofar as the concerns of the DND and DND proper is concerned. Maybe we could tweak some of the existing rules and regulations under 12009. Specifically for transparency mechanisms, as it's not under 12009, we have not yet issued the government procurement manuals and other relevant implementing guidelines for all the provisions of the new law.
If COA's not here, we'd like to ask them for their opinion, right, on the bill. DOJ and Solgen, are they represented?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Office of Solgen, yes. The Section 19's authority to enter into executive or partnership agreements with embedded procurement provisions raise any constitutional concerns, particularly in relation to procurement laws, expansion of powers, or the limits on executive agreements? Is this allowed? Are there any concerns that you can raise?
Good morning, Your Honor. First off, Your Honor, we would like to extend our appreciation to the Honorable Committee. It's always a privilege and an honor for the Office of the Solicitor General to assist the Senate and its committees. Secondly, Your Honor, the Solicitor General extends her regrets as she has a prior commitment. Third, Your Honor, in response to your query, our initial position, Your Honor, is that the DND, be an extension of the Office of the President, indeed has the power to enter into executive agreements, which is likewise confirmed by our colleagues who are experts in procurement. We have preliminary reservations, Your Honor, however, on a few items, and this would pertain to the so-called donation of military equipment. If I may, Your Honor, The office is quite concerned as regards the possible sources of these military donations. We are speculating or contemplating the possible scenario where a donation could be imbued with other motives. And with due respect to our colleagues from the Foreign Affairs, it is also of interest if the source of donation will take into account the independent foreign policy of the government. So far, Your Honor, these are just preliminary from the point of view of the OSG. Once approved by the Solicitor General herself, we will submit to the Honorable Committee our position paper.
We hear from the DND. Can you please respond to the OSG position?
Yes, Your Honor. Donations, we have been very selective on donations. We get donations from, the last one will be from Japan, the Overseas Security Assistance. These are equipment for our naval monitoring stations. So we do not accept old donations. We accept new and at-par donations. So yung luma po, ayaw na po namin.
Donation subject to taxes or tax-free lahat?
I have confirmed. Not all the ones.
Not all are free of taxes. Nagabayad tayo.
Some, ma'am, are covered by taxes, customs. It depends, ma'am, on the arrangements. But most of all of our donations, ma'am, go through the process of the executive approval also, ma'am. So the DND cannot just accept any donations from any country without the approval at the executive level. Even our acquisitions through executive agreements, our MOUs and MOAs and DCAs, Defense Cooperation Agreement, goes through the DOF and to the President. Even the specific implementing agreement for specific projects for acquisition, that's to go to DFA and the President, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Though, do the existence of our EDCA sites, are they attached to any donations or agreements pertaining to equipment donation?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am.
So we're giving it for free.
It's not free. It's just for them access. It's access for.
That's why. So they have access, but the infrastructure, see, who's spending for the infrastructure?
Both, ma'am. Us
So
and them.
we're spending and
They're spending,
they're spending
and it's
and
our
we're using it. They're
both jointly, ma'am.
joint for training, but
For training and HADR.
and they're not, it's not attached to any donation. Wala silang binibigay.
None.
Bakit wala? Dapat
They have
binibigay
this
sila.
foreign military funding and foreign military sales, but it's under State Department of the US.
So,
It's not with the defense.
mhm.
It's with state.
So you're saying, while we allow them access for the EDCA sites, it may not be directly linked to EDCA, but another department is in charge of the donations. It's not like quid pro quo, para hindi halata naman mo, we gave them access kasi bawal daw ang basing, pero parang basis na rin yan, at hinayaan natin na nandyan, at pinasa naman namin dito, pero walang nakakabit na ito, kapalit nito, may donations. Wala.
None, ma'am.
It's a
There's no free
different-
pro.
Oo, ba? Mm-mm. What are we benefiting from EDCA?
Response for HADR,
Mm-mm.
joint training, access, improvement of facilities.
Mhm. Mhm. Are the facilities well developed?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. Okay.
Up to standards of a, actually, if it's built by them, it's NATO standards.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And they can't take it with them, so it's ours, right?
Correct, ma'am.
How much of the EDCA sites infrastructure are funded by us, by the Philippine government?
I have to get back on you on
Yes.
that, ma'am. And give you
50-50 ba yun? Paano?
no, ma'am.
No.
It's not 50-50, definitely.
Who's spending more?
Them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, but that's another matter altogether. But it's not attached to any donations.
No, ma'am.
Is the Department of Foreign Affairs here? DFA? So, may we hear your views on the executive or partnership agreements under Section 19 to be coordinated with the DFA? How can it ensure consistency with the so-called independent foreign policy, our existing treaty obligations, and regional security commitments? May we hear from the DFA? Saan ba kayo? Where's the DFA? Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, actually, I'm from the Presidential Commission on Visiting Forces. I think the DFA proper will be in the best position to respond to the question. I think it's in the other, as mentioned, I think it's in the other hearing. He's being called by one of the staff.
Okay. Yung wala dito, COA and DFA to give us their position. The BCDA is present in relation to the real property issues. I think I asked them about this during another hearing, and at least we were able to increase the take of the DND because there were some issues on payments for real property tax, etc. Is a BCDA here? Yes. Binayaran na nyo yung kulang na utang nyo sa DND. Di ba hindi kayo nagkakasundo nun? Tapos nung hearing, hindi ko hearing yun eh.
Public corporations.
So, yeah. Ay nagkasundo na kayo, sabi nyo, babayaran nyo ang DND sa mga utang nyo. Di ba?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Joyce Calera from BCDA. Springing from the stemming from the our last hearing in the Senate, we were able to, per our records, we're able to submit the necessary documents to DND for validation. Yeah, we were able to. We already submitted the necessary documents regarding on that matter on the real property taxes for their validation, Madam Chair.
Meaning, they increased their take.
Yes.
Okay. So, kasi isa yun sa hindi nyo pinagkakasunduan at you'll be able to pay them and you made your computations and
For their validation,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
I just want 1 minute. I want to finish the transfer. So, please go ahead and transfer. So I'd like to hear from the BCDA. Should there still be a basis conversion framework? Pero hanggang the law creating you, matagal pa eh, will expire in 2042 yet, right? Yeah. I don't think it should be extended anymore because you shouldn't be selling more of your land. You need the land. Yeah. But under the present law, you're mandated to sell. Don't sell. You need your land there.
That's the
Ano ba yun? If you're
that's the direction of the Secretary, Your
Yeah.
Honor.
Yeah.
We're not giving up our lands anymore because these are strategic, identified previously as a strategic in nature, and we want to develop them.
Yes, strategic basing for logistics hubs, for force posture readiness. Hindi pwede. Yung ang dami nga yung mga binenta na nyo na hindi dapat eh. So, you're not selling anymore.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And only those in Metro Manila ang pinapakinabangan nyo, di ba?
Only
Outside
those
of
that were-
NCR, it doesn't even go to you.
A
Right?
portion, ma'am, a portion.
Kala ko,
A portion.
o mas malaki kasi ang Metro Manila,
Yes,
ang,
ma'am.
ang percentage, right?
Force.
No, from what I understand, outside of Metro Manila, it's given to Treasury, not to you. Anyway, but your track is you're no longer selling.
That's correct, ma'am.
That's good. Yes, you don't.
Yes.
You just develop it for your use.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
For our reconciliation, ma'am, is their remittances with us. We are challenging the items being charged to direct expenses related to the sale of lots and other items entered into that portfolio.
Mm-mm. Okay.
And we did not agree to that. And we were also asking for copies of previous contracts so we can reconcile really what's supposed to be remitted to us.
Yes.
So right now, there's still funds with BCDA. It's in the bank. We're not accepting the remittance until we agree on the reconciliation.
Mhm. If I were you, accept the remittance, use it, and at the same time, reconcile it. Kung kulang, singilin pa nyo. Kung sobra, sa inyo na.
I will.
Kailangan nyo eh. Government to government eh. Lupa naman nyo yun eh.
I'll recommend that to the Secretary, Your Honor.
Sayang.
I'll recommend that to the Secretary, Your Honor. It's his call at the end of the day, ma'am.
Yes, of course, it is called. I'm just giving a suggestion.
Yes.
Eh kasi ang tagal ng reconciliation eh. I've been hearing about that. Okay. Multi-year contracts and fiscal sustainability. Oh, we talked about that already. BCDA, we talked to you about it already. What I'd like to do is transform this into a technical working group so what we do is the salient portions of the bill. Without the bill, how is procurement done? How will the additional plantilla positions be? What are the other salient portions? Saan ba yung listahan ko yun? That I read into the record. The 9. Where are the 9? Saan yung listahan ng 9?
First page.
Yeah, the first page. Where was it? Hmm.
You can use this one. These are the 9 facets.
So the 9 aspects of the bill, I won't read it again. Without the transformation bill, the transformative act, how is it now? So binasa ko yon. Anyway, in the TW, you can do that. With the bill, how will it enhance? How will it improve? Or dahil, let's say, wala ito, absent ito, weak kami dito. Para makita ko yung diferensya, I think you can do that in the TWG. And if you cannot answer that, if it would need, let's say, the position of DBM or DOF, isama nyo doon. Tama? Naintindihan nyo ang gusto ko? Yeah. So, the 9 salient features of the Transformative Act bill, taking into consideration the 2 other measures, right? And we put into the record, wag nang basahin, yung position on the 2 other measures, the Veterans Bill, right? And the bill of Senator Subiri, correct?
Those are different bills. Meron po
No.
tayong,
Ano ito? Anong version to?
these are the
All transformative.
all transformative.
Transformation Act.
Yes, ma'am. And then we still have to.
Basta what I need to see would be a matrix of how is it now? If the bill is not passed, how will you suffer? How will you not be agile? How will you not be able to improve national security? How will it impact on our national security in every aspect that we know, 6 or even more? So prove to me, convince me on the urgency of the Transformation Act. Then we convert it into a technical working group. Yeah. Just 1 minute. May I hear from the DND your position on the revised AFP modernization program and yung Veterans Month, isubmit na lang into the record. It's a declaration, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oo, yeah.
No fiscal, no fiscal effect,
Ito.
ma'am. It's just a resolution, ma'am.
It's a
okay.
reso.
Yes.
Okay, yes. What is the position of the DND on the revised AFP modernization program? This can't be subsumed here. No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is an.
This is SB 1845.
Yes.
Yes, who's ready to answer that?
Your Honor, we are pushing for the amendment of the revised AFP modernization, particularly removing the 15-year horizons, because we feel like it's already obsolete and acquisition should be needs-based, ma'am, not based on specific timelines due to the evolving needs. Yeah.
Just one provision or one line, no?
A few lines, a few provisions, ma'am,
But
which
yun lang ang
also
concept, no? Yung 15 years.
the removal of the 15 years, ma'am, as well as to allow us foreign and local financing, because as it is, ma'am, we cannot defense equipment article are not covered by loans, local loans, and foreign loans, ma'am, may cap it has a ceiling. So we want to have the ceiling removed.
So this is more than a 25-year-old law.
Amended in 2012, ma'am, by RA 10349.
But we
It will
have
expire
amended
by
again.
2027.
Set to expire on the next year. Next year na pala, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, to remove the 15-year limit,
To allow us foreign financing,
to allow foreign financing.
foreign and local financing.
So under the present revised law, it does not allow foreign
Does not.
financing?
Yes, ma'am.
Karamihan po na acquisitions natin, ma'am, gaamay ka.
So to remove the 15-year limit makes AFP modernization an ongoing program, requires modernization plans to be regularly updated based on current threats, allows foreign loan, allows the president to secure foreign financing for modernization, subject of course to constitutional and Bangko Central approval. It exempts modernization equipment from VAT and customs duties.
Yes, ma'am.
Para babaan ng presyo. So this proposed bill, galing sa inyo ito, no?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes, transitions the FA modernization program from a fixed 15-year plan period to a continuous capability-based framework that allows regular updating in response to evolving internal and external security threats. So if this is not passed, tell me, just convince me on the importance of this proposal.
On financing, ma'am, if that is not passed, we will be limited to MICA, Multi-Year Contracting Authority. And with that scheme, the available funds of the national government is utilized at a very short period, ma'am, 5 to 7 years, as compared to a financing of 10, 15 years. So we're not able to capitalize on foreign financing to provide for bigger platforms and capabilities as planned in our capability development documents. So for example, ma'am, the multi-role fighters, the satellite, this requires hundreds of billions. And we are only appropriated around 35 to 50 billion a year. And we paid that for the next 5 to 7 years through MICA. But if foreign financing will be provided, there's no mention of foreign financing in the modernization law, ma'am. It's quiet. It doesn't say we are restricted, but it doesn't say we are allowed. Yes, ma'am. And for the local financing, the bankers associations to the Philippines, ma'am, they are very much interested to provide loans for the armed forces for our modernization. Unfortunately, it's not also based on the monetary board resolutions. Any local agencies are not allowed to partake of loans from our local banks, ma'am. Only GOCCs.
We hear from a DOF about this measure. Is a DOF here? Mm-mm. Who's from the DOF? Wala eh. Ba't ganun? Oo. We ask the DOF for their position. DBM. Bakit walang DOF? Yes.
We have things on your posts. From here, department. Please,
Yes. Can you please speak? Because I want to understand. When the first law was enacted, and up to now, even with the revised measure, you're not allowed to secure domestic or foreign loans. And they're asking now for us to allow them, right? So, dalawa ang focus ng measure. Yung 15-year limit and to allow them foreign loans and domestic loans, right? What's the position of the DOF?
Good morning, Madam Chair. We're actually from the National Tax Research Center. We were asked by the DOF to sit for this hearing. The DOF does not have any official position paper right now. It is undergoing clearance. But the NTRC has a position regarding tax implications only, Madam Chair, not on matters outside of the tax provisions of Senate Bill number 1845, Madam Chair.
National Tax Center, who else can give their position on the proposed bill, on the amendments to the revised AFA modernization program? Yes, DBM and BSP.
Madam Chair, on the part of the DBM po, while we ultimately defer to the DOF, particularly on this concern po on financial agreement, we just want to note po na meron po tayong special provision number 2 under which is related po to this measure, related to the revised AFP modernization program na may specific provision po din na about foreign and domestic financing agreement, which states po that in addition to the annual appropriation for the AFP Modernization Act Trust Fund, the Secretary of Finance, in coordination with the DND, is authorized to negotiate, contract, or enter into foreign and domestic financing agreement, including but not limited to loans, grants, credit facilities, and blend financial mechanism for the implementation of the AFP Modernization project, subject to the approval of the President of the Republic of the Philippines with the concurrence of the Monetary Board and such limitation as provided by law. Our recommendation po on this particular measure is in a way to harmonize it with this particular special provision po. That's all for our comments po on the DBM.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ma'am, the BSP will be submitting its official position paper on the bill. However, based on our initial review, the provisions of the proposed bill are consistent with the constitutional provisions that foreign loans of the public sector will require the prior concurrence of the Monetary Board. The bill will also allow the tapping of foreign funding to acquire, I guess, state-of-the-art defense equipment. If I could just echo what our friends from the DND said, and then to react on the possible bank lending for defense purposes, this is already being reviewed by our relevant sector in the BSP.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like to ask probably DBM and Treasury. Both agencies expressed reservations about the proposal to progressively raise yung pong defense spending towards the 2% of GDP. So what's the reason? Ng DBM and Bureau of Treasury?
Your Honor, as for the Treasury, the Treasury it is the standard reservation to avoid language in laws that will effectively earmark funds because
Admittedly, Your Honor, there has been a lot of laws which provides for earmark with large annual funding requirements, which in truth is cumbersome for the Treasury. However, Your Honor, we recognize the needs of the national defense as it is an indispensable part of development. It is just for the part of the Treasury. The Treasury prefers that it will undergo through the regular budget process to take into account the implementing capacity and ability to exhaust the budget that is given instead of putting sort of an earmark in the funds, which would be construed as a directive to provide said amount regardless of implementing capacity. That would be for the Treasury.
Thank
Your
you,
Honor.
Attorney Cadorna. About the DBM, same this have the same position.
Yes, Mr. Chair. On the part of the DBM naman po, based on our projection on the BESF, so our computation is if we would be using the 2% GDP based on the preceding year, our computation so far po, which that amount po, which would amount to around 567 billion. So for the current year po, what is provided under D&D budget po is around 429 billion. So in this regard po, on the current year, around 100 billion po yung magiging additional for this purpose. Considering po the tight fiscal position of our country po right now, our recommendation is to ensure as well po na implementation ready and shovel ready po yung mga programs and project ni DND. Usual budgeting process po so that the DBM can assess in terms of the budget preparation and the Congress po as well to check the status and accomplishment of the DND kung na-implement po ba or nagagawa yung programs po. Yun po yung aming recommendation.
It's the same.
Yes,
Instead
po,
of earmarking 2% of GDP.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
So you leave it up to the regular budgeting process and leave it up to Congress. And nangyayari kasi pag Congress yan, every year, nagkakaroon ng budget cut in our AFP modernization. It's just the Senate who restores it, Madam Chair. We even augment it, no? I think the AFP and DND officials know about this. Tanong ko lang, anybody from DND or AFP can answer. In the ASEAN, among our ASEAN neighbors, halimbawa, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam, how much do they allocate? Baka may alam, sino pong may alam, for their defense spending? Ilang percent of their GDP? Meron ho kayang may makakapagsagot? Ito po, meron na si Madam Chair.
Percent, yeah.
Philippines pala is only allocating 1.19%. Singapore 2.7%. Myanmar is 3.8%. Japan is 1.2%. Thailand is 1.2%. Vietnam is 1.8%. No? Kaya lang yung Thailand, pareho sa atin kasi nakapag-invest na sila. Tama? They have a bigger armada already, no? Yung Air Force nila, mas marami na silang GDP based. Oo, tsaka yung through the years, kumbaga tayo yung playing catch up no? Ang tanong ko lang po, what is really ano po talaga nagiging problema sa every year na why are we late, what causes the delay of the AFP modernization? Baway Horizon 1, 2, 3. Dapat nasa 3 na tayo ngayon, external defense. We are still implementing may 1 pa yata na konti, and now 2. So ang layo na ng natin, dapat nasa external defense na tayo. So what's really causing the problem for the delays of the AFP modernization implementation?
Thank you for the question, Your Honor. First is, for example, Your Honor, for this year, we were given 40 billion for program expense. 90% or 95% of that will just go to multi-year acquisitions. So yung
bayad utang na sa mga delay.
Yung natitira, yun na lang po ang pagtsatsagaan namin sa bago. Wala rin kami mabibili. We want to improve our bases, hindi rin namin magawa. So we are relying on program allocations, which we can only request towards the 4th quarter of the year, and we cannot do anything much about it anymore.
Actually, Yusek Bison, yung pong 40 billion that was allocated this year in sa ano yun, no? To the intervention of the Senate, no? Usually nasa 10 billion lang yan every year eh. Nababawasan pa, 'di ba? So it's the biggest in years na naging 40 billion tapos meron tayong unprogrammed na 30.
50,
Tama
sir.
po,
50.
50.
Yes, sir.
So we're hoping that you can get that so that at least you can add more equipment, new equipment. Pag nakuha na-raise po yung sa program, yung pong 50 billion, you will be able to acquire new equipment. Kasi itong sabi nyo nga, itong ano nyo is just to pay off the multi-year contracts.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ang tanong ko lang, pero at least, Madam Chair, itong the good news, itong unprogram, naging controversial kasi unprogram eh. Dito tinago yung mga flood control. But this time around, the good news is that in the unprogrammed funds, ang nakalagay na lang po rito is AFP modernization and yung pong pang foreign assisted projects, no? So dalawa na o tatlo na lang yata yan, no? Wala na po yung mga ibang sinisingit-singit diyan. So ito pong Horizon 1, 2, 3, so ano pong magiging you will propose to revise it already para po kasi masyado na tayo, kailangan nating update. Nalilito na tayo, nasa Horizon 2 pa tayo, may konti pang 1 na dapat nasa 3. So ano po magiging natin with the AP modernization? Ano po yung magiging bagong schedule or scheme?
Sir, we do not like the horizons anymore, sir. Because the evolution of technologies and defense is fast changing. So sticking to a 5-year horizons will not be practical anymore, Your Honor. So that's one of the changes on the law besides the foreign financing so that we can stretch the resources of the government. Some governments are giving us 20-25-year tenor on loans and we pay as soon as they deliver the item. So it stretches our resource on acquiring capital intensive equipment.
So now that you mentioned that some other right-minded allies are offering to help support our modernization, no, na nagbibigay sila ng 18 years, 20 years payment scheme for acquisition of major assets for the Navy, for the Air Force. So have we considered already these offers, no, that are being given, no, or being offered to the AFP?
Yes, sir. We are considering it, sir. Right now, as it was newly introduced in the General Appropriations Act that we can avail of foreign financing. We are new to it. It has to undergo a tedious process. We're exploring it, Your Honor, for big ticket items. Example will be missile defense, fighters, geostationary satellites, which will require a really big outlay.
For now, ang talaga natin because of the precarious situation in the West Philippine Sea, we really need to strengthen. Kailangan talaga natin mag-play catch up to our dating Horizon 3, focusing on external defense. I know for a fact that when we went with the Madam Chair, when we went to France, they are offering, no, sila po yung nag-offer ng mga 18-20-year payment scheme for acquisition of major assets, be it for our Navy or Air Force, no, sa ating pong mga multi-role fighters or naval assets. Korea, I think, is also offering. So, ang ano ko lang dito ay, of course, be rest assured that hopefully na we will still be there for another 2 years. Hopefully magtuloy-tuloy that we will be able to allocate or allot again this big, kung ganito ko kalaki, do you think Yusek na itong kung halimbawa yung 50 and 40 billion, no, yung 40 and 50 billion program and unprogram, at least can this make a difference now compared to the what previously was allocated to or allotted to the AFP modernization?
Yes, Your Honor, it will make a difference definitely. We expect to consume the fourth program funds for the first semester. Hopefully we can DBM will approve us on the towards the unprogrammed funds towards the end of the year, which we are thankful because DBM last year allowed us ilan, 14 ba o 15? 15 billion last year on non-program funds, and we were able to contract it out using the non-program funds. And with the enough leeway given to us, so we want to take advantage of the opportunity given us.
Ang naging problema kasi daw, just like in any other programs, projects, yung change in administration, no? Nagkakaroon minsan ng change in policies, priorities. Nangyayari sa ating infrastructure, instead of us investing in the going for long term, naging short and medium term. Kaya nga napag-iwanan tayo na ASEAN neighbors natin eh. And probably that applies also to our AFP modernization. So how does the department intend to operationalize this continuous modernization model so that it survives changes in administration? Paano kaya natin pwedeng para matulungan namin kayo in terms of AFP modernization? Kasi talagang problema natin eh. Yung 6-year term, 3-year term, sometimes it's not enough no for the full implementation or ito lalo na sa AFP modernization. Pag gumawa lang kayo ng paggawa lang ng naval asset ng isang barko ng frigate, 5 years, 4-5 years, no? So it might transcend administration. So paano ho natin kaya magagawa na we will be able to modernize in spite of the fact that we have only 3 or 6-year term for administrations?
Your Honor, we, on the part of the department, we made sure that acquisitions is purposive in a sense that we start with a strategy or an architecture or a structure on how to situate acquisitions. Katulad po sa flood control, may master plan po. Hindi yung kung saan lumalabas. So for the Navy, we have an active archipelagic defense concept. We have a comprehensive archipelagic defense concept. So we also have a missile defense concept. So every procurement is situated on an overall scheme. So hindi po yung, bilhin mo to. Kung wala naman akong gagamitin, hindi ko bibilin yan. Walang paglalagyan yan. So we already agreed on concepts. These are approved. But of course, new bosses will have new policies. But we have it.
That's the reason I asked, because each time there's a new administration,
yes, sir.
Maybe change in priorities, change in
plans. Yes, sir.
Plans.
Yes, sir.
So ang gusto natin yung long term, no?
Yes,
Kung may master plan man halimbawa sa infra, dapat meron din tayo sa AFP modernization so that we can already play catch up, ma'am. I think if compared to our ASEAN neighbors, no, malayo na sila, Indonesia, Malaysia, even Thailand. Ilan na yung multi-role fighters sila, ilan na yung Navy nila, kompleto na sila. Kaya yung defense spending nila, mababa na kasi nga, they were able to invest already through the years. Tayo, we're playing catch up eh. Tama ho, di ba? So yun po yung tinatanong ko so that we will be able to achieve yung ating pong target or goal of having that hindi naman natin kinakailangan maging i-match itong halimbawa itong China. Superpower yun, third world lang tayo. But at least the respectable defense posture that we need. Yun po yung yung at least yung ating credible defense posture that we need, that we will be able to achieve this transcending these different administrations. So yun po, will that now be part of what you propose in the new AFP modernization plan?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, we come up with our concept of operations on undersea, sea, sensors, domains, effectors, the whole thing. It's there. It's published. We can brief the Senate, the good senator on that. And,
so hopefully we can really play catch up, no? Kasi parang ilan taon lang, Madam Chair, I can remember that at least medyo right now, yung naval assets natin are now modernized na. Medyo nagmo-modernize. Wala na yung gone are the days of vintage World War II. Few years ago, yung may gumagamit pa tayo ng mga World War II vessels di ba? Tapos makailan bumibili pa tayo ng mga yung pong mga air force natin na yung mga chopper natin na kahit walang kalaban bumabagsak. Di ba? Yung UH-1, nagkaroon ng investigation dito, naalala ko. So, it was the Senate also who investigated and stopped the acquisition of refurbished or reconditioned, di ba? So, ngayon, panibago na. So, ang ano ko lang, Madam Chair, we're not a rich nation, but siguro dapat bilhin na natin what is practical and what is reliable. Hindi tayo mayaman, so kailangan yung magagamit na matagal.
The observation of the senator is correct. And besides the equipment, we need support equipment, which is a bigger requirement, from shipyards to naval bases to sustainment systems to be in place for this new equipment.
Yes, we understand. Of course, yung kailangan natin support, we need to support, halimbawa, yung mga bagong naval assets natin, kailangan natin ng bagong bases, no? That can accommodate all of these new frigates and bigger ships. Yung mga ano natin, Air Force, hopefully we'll be able to acquire yung MRF na matagal na nating inaasam-asam. Kailangan natin ng mga bagong support, no? Yung pong sa ano, yung Subic Bay, was it considered, no? Kasi ito ano problema natin yung pong ginagamit natin, nagre-renta tayo, nakakatawa, nagre-rent tayo, tapos binabayaran tayo ng American firm, no? Yung dating ship building facility ng Hyundai. So, Hanjin pala, no? So, nandun yung ating mga ibang frigates, nakita ko po yun, pero yun pala, nagre-renta tayo ng 1 billion a year. Tama, no? So, sabi namin, why not just bring it back to Subic? After all, Subic was designed really as a naval base. May mga bunker na, no? At kung ano-ano pa. So, na-ano ba yun? Na-consider ba ito? So that, we can also put this in our program.
Being considered, Your Honor, we are eyeing the munitions pier of the former 7th Fleet. It's called the Nabasan Wharf. That will be the home of the future Philippine fleet. So the naval magazine will be there. We'll improve on the facilities. And just to give a picture for the good senator, a frigate will load about 1 million liters in one go. And we need depots, we need magazines.
At wala po yan doon sa dating Hanjin facilities. Wala, no?
Wala po.
And I saw it kasi talagang wala. Parang warehouse lang siya.
Yes, sir.
Sabi ko nga, Madam Chair, when I saw that facility, that the Navy is renting out from the American company na 1 billion a year, na wala siyang masyadong support mechanism, no, to support our new acquisition. So hopefully mag-transfer sila sa Subic Bay, and I think Subic Bay SBMA has welcomed yung Navy para yung 1 billion na binabayad sa Subic na lang natin ibayad, no? And I think tama ho kayo, nandun na po yung mga it was really designed as a naval base, so it can be used, no? Yung depot, bunkers are there. So hopefully it can be may sasama na rin po natin yun.
That's correct, Your Honor. We programmed for the development of the Nabasan Pier. It's a multi-year program, and we're working on it with the chief executive on the development of that area. Just for refueling, if you don't have a depot, kung gas truck lang, Your Honor, mga 5 araw silang nagagas up bago mapuno yung barko. Ganun karami yung kailangan na fuel namin.
And also now, I think we need to do that as soon as possible para po yung maintenance, yung support services to our new assets, and meron pa mga darating, no? Kasi nakita ko talaga yung Hanjin, walang kulang na kulang, warehouse lang yun Paparada na, pero talagang walang support. As you said, wala naman depot pa ron, no fuel.
Yes, sir. The Hanjin, sir, is designed as a shipyard for aircraft carriers.
Yes,
It's
not really for
not a naval base. Sir.
Not a naval base.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for that. Anything that we will be able to improve tong aming bill on AFP modernization, let us know, so that yun po, Madam Chair, no, so that in the long term that we can really play catch up. Masyado na tayong nahuli. Every year nakakaawa po ang modernization budget. Ito po yung laging kinakaltasan. Binabawasan sa Kongreso. Buti na lang dyan ang Senado na nagre-restore, and we even augment. Pero 10 billion lang. But now, with the 40 billion and 50 billion program, hopefully it can be retained in the coming year so that we can already have that minimum credible defense posture that we are all envisioning to have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We end our hearing and convert it into a TWG, and I just wanted to include the Veterans Month Declaration, which declares the month of April as Philippine Veterans Month every year. So everything that is written here would be deemed included into the record, including the constitutional basis affirms a state's duty to care for veterans and their families under the 1987 Constitution, and for historical preservation, the promotion of documentation and teaching veteran stories in schools. And this will include the access to benefits, medical and mental health support, and multi-agency coordination and everything else. So there are 3 bills that will be converted into TWG, right? The Transformation Act, the AFP Revised Modernization Program, which is really just the 15 years and the and allowing them the capacity to borrow, right, for foreign financing and domestic, and the Declaration of April as the for the Veterans Month. Did I get it correctly? And those who are not able to say their piece today, although I should have given everyone a chance, please submit it. It will be inserted into the record. And those who are not present here today but were asked to give, that's COA and is it DFA who was in the other room, and Civil Service. Yes, please COMSEC make them insert into the record the statement supposedly for today and to join the technical working group. And the 3 can be sponsored before we adjourn in March. In fact, by next week. Philippine Veterans Month, declaration lang yun. Kayang-kaya ko yun. Yung modernization naman, andali yan. It's just the 15 years at saka allowing foreign and domestic financing unless there's a OSG issue about it, unless a BSP is against it. If it's legally allowed and then there's no constitutional problem with it, then we can do the revised the modernization program. And then the Transformation Act also, yun medyo ayusin natin ilan ba talaga ang kaya ng gobyerno, because I don't want to pass an unfunded law. What if I pass it and then they will only fund the 6 USECs, etc. So, but I'd like to pass that. So, do I have the commitment of the team to sponsor the 3 before we adjourn middle of March? Kaya. Kaya. Siyempre, palaging kaya. Okay? Yes? What's the status, just for the record, in the House of Rep for the 3 bills? O kung di nyo alam, sige. Dapat palagi alam yan, ha? That's standard. Yes. Sige. COMSEC. Thank you.
Ma'am, for the D&D transformation, they have already referred the matter for TWG last February 5, 2025. For the Veterans Month, ma'am, they have already passed the same for the 3rd reading.
Okay.
And for the AFP modernization, Your Honor, they have not yet updated as to the
O sige,
status.
please call the COMSEC and find out sino ba ang chair counterpart ko doon. Make sure they conduct the hearing kasi yung modernization, simple lang yan, yung 15 years lang yun. Oo. Tapos yung transformation, kaya nyo yan. Makaisa o 2 TWG lang yan. So, sponsor ko lahat yan. So, next week, sponsor ko na yung veterans. Kaya na rin yung week after next, I can sponsor the modernization and the transformation. Okay? O, ito thesis ko. Sige, meron take home lahat. Take home lahat. Okay. Lahat bigyan. Lahat ng ganito na lang. Lahat ng interesado. Kasi sabi ko, bigyan lahat ito. Meron kayong lahat. Sige, yung mga nasa likod nila, baka gusto rin magbasa. Sige, wag niyong gagawin toilet paper, ha? Hindi, biro lang. Wag scratch paper, ha? Pinaghirapan ko yan. Sige, nag-GSC ako eh. I graduated 2017, di ba? Nag-GSC ako. Tapos, NDCP, Gawin ko nga ang libro yung aking term paper noon. Best Thesis Award ako ng 1993. At saka top notcher. Akin na, uy, takbo. Takbo. Sa ano? Yung aking card. Pakita ko. Yabang ko. Nandun sa takbo. Pababa mo. Nasa cabinet ko. Alam ni Sherry. O, tika, gusto ko on record yung aking grades. Sige. Ito. Pero ito, thesis ko to sa General Staff College. Best Thesis Award. Pahingi naman ng kopya na Best Thesis Award siya. Meron yata akong plaque. Oo. Yun lang, parang letter lang na kung totoo bang best thesis ako, baka hindi naman eh. Pinagyayabang ko eh. Ginawa ko lang libro. Diba? Yun naman. So lahat ng mga thesis nyo sa mga pinag-aralan natin, magandang gawin libro. Tapos siguro, i-upload ko ito. Kasi hindi naman lahat may hard copy eh. I-upload. Oo. Diba? This is building resilience in the humanitarian space. Sige. Okay. Huwag na hintayin yung grado. So, any more statements? Yes. Kung mapasa yung 3 ngayong taon, ma-sponsor ko bago mag-Marso na break, ma-defend ko pagbalik ng Mayo, we enact it into law. Malaking bagay ba yan sa DND, AFP? Bakit hindi napasa nun? 4 na taon na tayo eh. Wasn't this a priority before? Or you only submitted it? Bagong submit lang yung sa akin
Ma'am, we already provided copies of the bill towards the end of the 19th Congress. However, I don't think it was filed.
End of the 19th Congress.
Yes,
I see. Sa akin ngayon lang. I only took over a few months ago and this was only submitted to us, right? So just to be sure, it is an agency submitted bill, right? Hindi naman ako nag-isip nito. Although syempre, we will refine it and see. But it's a priority measure of the DND. The AFP sang-ayon dito? Siguro naman. Oh, of course. Yes. They will follow. Ayan pala, nga pala. Yes, General.
Yes, ma'am. The position of on behalf of the Chief of Staff, thank you very much for this endeavor. We have submitted the positions of the Armed Forces to the Defense Department, ma'am, and we are aligned with the provisions.
Na kontra. Except sa DBM, ayaw lang nila, kayo na mag-negotiate. 2 na lang. 2 plantilla lang pinag-aawayan nyo. O 3. Kasi PVAW. 3. Okay, mag-usap. Sa TWG, tignan natin. Ano yan? Magyayabang pa ba ako dito? Hindi na kailangan. JB, tanda ko na 1992. Oh my God, where were you?
I just graduated from college.
Okay, 1992. Okay. Yeah. At that time, may political dimension na.
Wow.
Ano bang grade yung nababasa mo, James?
1.
1. Okay, lagay mo sa mic. Lagay mo sa mikropono. Political dimension.
1.0750.
Okay. Malakpak. Yan ang nakukuha nyo pag ang chair ninyo. Okay, next. Economic dimension of national security. Ano bang grado to, James?
Hindi ko makita. 1.122. 0.
Okay, next. Socio-cultural dimension of national security. Anong grado ba tayo, James?
1.1000.
Thank you, James. Next. Military dimension of national security.
1.4025.
Okay. Leadership and management. Sorry, magtsaga kayo.
1.3740.
Remember, I was 32 years old, kaedad ko noon ng anak ko si Leandro. Okay. I was heavy with child. 9 months, my son was in my tummy. Yeah. National security, national strategy and policy, that's what we're doing now. Anong grado ko noon, tinan mo? Kaya pala, national strategy and policy. At that time, wala pa akong idea magiging senador ako.
Almost flat 1.0037.
Kaya pala ako naging policy maker. So, bakit ko sinasabi to? Hinubog ako ng National Defense College of the Philippines at in-enhance ako ng General Staff College. Yan ang mahalaga. Kaya dapat damihan natin ang budget nila. Sige. Das meron seminar on selected national security issues and problems. Anong grado natin, James?
1.1854.
Seminar on national strategy and policy formulation.
1.1904.
16.
16 pala.
Research methodology. Thesis.
1.0322.
Okay. Thesis.
Wow. 1.00. Flat 1.
Ayun. Kaya,
Hey, may nanalo na.
pinagmamalaki po ng inyong chair na ako ay nag-aral sa inyong institusyon at naging top-notcher nung 1992 class. Yes. Hindi para magyabang, oo na rin, pagbigyan na nyo ang mga tumatanda. Pagbigyan na nyo pag tumatanda, syempre, proud sa mga nakaraan. Para magbigay ng inspirasyon sa mga estudyante ng National Defense, ng GSC at lahat ng mga institusyon para makita na ang buhay pala, hindi mo akalain, malay ko, estudyante ako dito, nasa broadcast ako noon, and I was heavy with child, malay ko na 1992, 93, in 5 years, malay ko magiging senador ako. Malay ko naman magiging seatmate ko si Senator JV. At malay ko naman ako'y gagawa ng 3 batas at mag-chair ng defense. So in all these years, mula 1998, ngayon lang ako nag-chairman ng Defense Committee. So I'm enjoying learning from all of you. At kung may pagkukulang po, I'd like to be told always that I'm wrong, or it's kulang, or inaccurate, and I'd like to learn. Yeah, that's why all of us should be bukas ang isipan, matututo sa isa't isa. We correct each other. Kaya pasensya na when I correct you pag hindi nagkakaintindihan. Keep a curious mind, be inquisitive, and learn to admit your mistakes and to correct ourselves when we're wrong. But always think 10 steps ahead and look on your side, on your back, everywhere, and be aware of everything that's happening and think 10 steps ahead. And there's no substitute for complete staff work, right? Yeah. And I'd like to say it was former President Fidel Ramos who mentored me. Yes. So, FBR. Okay. Thank you for that. Si Secretary Chodoro said that he will have a meeting with me after his trip today. He apologized, of course, in his text last night and this morning. He could not make it. But I'd like to hear from Sekibo also, what are the other bills that are important to him? Although you already told me that these 3. Kung meron pa bang iba, would anyone be able to say what are the bills we need to prioritize? USEC? No?
That's all for the moment.
Ito?
Yeah.
That's for the moment. This is it.
Yes.
At dapat, can you help me with this? We pass it before the adjournment in June?
Of course, Madam Chair. As always, I'm proud to say that in the Senate, we have always been supportive of the AFP.
Yes.
Sabi ko nga kanina, sorry na lang, pasintabi, binabawasan sa kabilang house yung, it's always us who restores and even augments. So, anything for the AFP, modernization, we have always, and you have been always supportive as well, Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you so much, Senator JV, our primary principal advocate in the Senate. And soon you can also be chair, of course, of the committee. And he has defended your budget as well many times. Thank you so much to everyone for this. Yes. Okay. We suspend for technical working group. Thank you.